up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, it's too late to try to go contain it. A generation fueled by creation. We live lives on a small screen nation. We control the airwaves, no negotiation. I refuse to think we need saving. Something good will come from creation. And when we think that the world is too anxious, we'll adapt, evolve, survive, and save it. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. What keeps you up at night, yeah. Make all the demons quiet, yeah. We were built to thrive, yeah. I think that we've all had enough. Yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. Hey, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong. You got me like, oh yeah, I think that we've all had enough. Sick of dealing with the old plan. They know that we're calling it wrong.
This is Houston Control. Checking for backup. Backup initiated. Locking out all ports. Clear. And we are good to go.
That was here a lot. All right. So what's going on, everybody? Good evening and welcome to Sovereign Soul Unchained Mind, coming to you live from 250 miles above your imagination in the International Fake Station. I'm going to reach over here and do some adjustments on this science over here real quick. And there we go. Everything should be good to go. Who we got with us here tonight? Looks like we might have a pretty good audience starting out. 14 already, it says in the thing. And I once again have reached out to several. I got Malcolm Sheen, Plowboy 6756 in here, just showing up in the chat right now. However, well, we're getting that little thing again. We might have a few little technographical things happen here. Always happens when the old lady goes downstairs and fires up her TV. Then everything is fucked up. Might have to get another retrans or some shit like that. But let me see who all we got in here. Let me fix this here. Wow, why does that look so fucking blurry? Does it look blurry to you guys? I'm going to refresh that. That looks terrible. Does that look as fuzzy to you guys as it does to me? Holy shit, that's no good. Is it? Somebody tell me in the chat if this looks as fuzzy to them. Does this image look fuzzy to you? Anybody? Let's see. Do the M-ball globe demonstration and get back to me. If you think that I'm going to take a fucking globe out into my yard, M-ball, and I'm going to sit there and look over the globe at the fucking sun because of some cockamamie goddamn idea that you have, you are sadly mistaken. Not I, nor anyone with a fucking 2 grains of sense are ever going to do that. Okay. And I really wouldn't put my name on such a ridiculous, stupid challenge if I were you. It just eats away at your credibility. I mean, and that's assuming that you had any. Okay. So there's that. Does this thing look as terrible to you guys as it does to me? Anybody? It's blurry. Okay. Give me just a second. I'm going to go back out. Let's see if that fixes it. Well, it's a little bit better. Yeah, that's better. I think that's a little better. Yeah. I don't know. These things are beyond my control. It's the the pigeon peckers and the penguin peckers. Hey, there's Jane. How you doing, Jane? Haven't seen you in a long time. Good to see you here. Got people piling in. So, on a serious note, and this is what we need to reach out. Do you or someone you know, a loved one, a friend, suffer from globitis? Now, some of you may not know what this is, but believe me, there are people out there, believe this or not, they think that they're on a spinning ball of water that is whirling around at phenomenal rates of speed in perpendicular directions to itself and other movements, and whirling through some kind of an infinite vacuum or something, they claim. And we really got, that's insanity, because part of this malady involves people claiming science for something that is scientifically impossible. And when you get into the entire science behind it, it's nothing more than gaslighting. It really is. It's nothing more than gaslighting, and making you, well, indoctrinating people into the belief system of just ridiculous, preposterous, scientifically impossible things. They've never been able to show any proof of an axial rotation, but they claim that this ball they're on is spinning, yet there is no proof of axial rotation. There's never been any proof of any convexity at all. And every attempt to prove convexity fails. So there's that part. So there goes your spinning, and there goes your ball. But then here's the crazy shit. They think that around the ball is this magical balloon with no container, some magical balloon that floats around the ball and doesn't get blown out into a vacuum and equalize. Right. So I guess one of these people would think that they could just make a ring of compressed air and put it around the wheel of their car. And this is the one that cracks me up. Oh my God. Are you really? Well, how come things fall at the same rate inside of a vacuum chamber? Really? Probably because everything that is something is denser than nothing. What is so hard to understand about that? It's just about relative density and equilibrium. I don't understand why this is a big problem with these people. All because some crackpot Jesuit had an apple fall on his fucking head? You got to be shitting me. I just don't get it. You ask these retards, you say, hey, you have to show demonstrable, repeatable experimentation proving that you can have a pressurized gas system within a vacuum without containment. You know what they do? They'll show you a picture of one of their planets. Now, here's what you got to understand about these planets. They assume that because they think that these things are spheres, that means that where you're looking at them from must be a sphere. So there's one assumption. Secondly, they assume that what they assume to be spheres have this gravity that they speak of because of some kind of mass attracting mass, but that's horse shit as well. Because if I take a helium balloon, like one of those great big ones that they got, NASA's got those ones the size of the Astrodome, Okay, so how come as I increase the mass of that helium balloon, as that mass increases, the tendency for it to repel from the mass of the Earth increases as well? So that kind of blows that idea out of the water really bad. So we don't have any proof of this crap, and there's no bending of space-time. That's dumb. Where's space-time? It's in your fucking head. You can bend that all you want to. That doesn't reflect reality in any way, shape, or form. So these are some of their extraordinary claims that they have to get by before we can even get into these ridiculous claims of gigantic thermonuclear reactions occurring because of a ball of gas. Now think about this. Here's another thing. Whenever would a ball of gas ever form together in a vacuum to begin with in order to be so massive that it would crush in on itself and cause a nuclear fusion reaction? In what fucking reality would that ever occur? None whatsoever. Everything is about equilibrium and balance. I'm sorry, there's no other way around it. So Ida Hat says no container. There must be a container, Ida. If you don't have a container, you don't have pressure. Pressure, the root word of which is press, to press upon. Okay, so what is pressing against the gases of the earth? The vacuum of space? That's not very scientific at all. In fact, that goes against all laws of physics. It goes against all laws of physics. Another thing they do is they assume that things are orbiting the sun. Now, these are really bad. Ida, maybe you might need to come on up and talk. You might need to learn why. I mean, it's not a bad thing. I mean, admitting you have a problem is the first step. You understand that, right? So that's where we have to go, where with this whole curing process is you have to do first, once you admit, and you have to, because, and it's hard for people sometimes because pride gets in their fucking way. It really does. Their pride gets in. There's ZXL Master. Hello, people of Earth, he says. Hello, ZXL. Hang on, we got more people. Ruhif is in here. Do you want a guest or a guest that just isn't me? Don't matter to me, Ruhif. If you can behave yourself and act cool, I'll bring you up. No problem. Link's pinned up in the top of the chat, brother. So, as I was saying, if you or anyone you may know has this malady, we need to try to get them on here and see if we can't actually teach them the difference between actual science and pseudoscience. Okay, because when you assume that there's convexity to the earth with no proof, and then assume that there's an axial rotation, and then you assume that all of that is orbiting a sun and no proof of any of it, then that's insanity, because those things are really kind of not we hit some space turbulence there. Did you see me? Did you see it bounce? Still doing it. Oh my God. Must have hit a gravity pocket. Oh, there's Roofy. There he is. What's happening, Roofy?
Say again?
What's going on, brother?
Procrastinating. So
you did what?
I'm procrastinating. I should go and do some stuff.
You're procrastinating. You know, I have that problem too, and I think I'm probably going to stop doing it like next week, maybe.
Yeah.
You know?
Good call. Yeah. And I haven't had my fix of Flat Earth YouTube because Troubling Tribune's away, shall we say?
Yeah, what's
Chicken,
up with that, man?
put some pants on. Jeez. Chicken, you're on the internet. Sit down.
Oh, I got to tell you,
Put
this is
some
funny.
pants on.
This is funny. This is funny as shit. My wife and I were coming back. We took the long way because it's the Memorial Day weekend, right?
Yeah.
And we were going into the town of Luray, and we have Luray Caverns, and oh my God, the tourists are everywhere. So traffic was crazy. So we decided to take the long way home, the scenic route. And we're coming down this road, and we passed this house, and I shit you not, there was this dude outside in his yard, buck ass naked, taking a shower in the hose, man, just dancing in the water.
Fantastic.
And it was just like one of those things as you're driving along and you're like, what? Did that just happened, man? That
Hang
just
on. You
totally
haven't met my
fucking
dog yet.
happened.
There you go. Come here. Something beautiful.
I made a rant video today about YouTube BS and mentioned me.
There we go.
Oh, we'll
There's the
have to
baby.
check. Oh, isn't that
Oh,
sweet?
she's beautiful.
Look at there. I don't know where I got a
Yeah.
little one. I got a little one around that size too. Her name's Cece. She's a Jack Russell Terrier mixed with a Chihuahua, and I'm not sure where she's at right now. I think she went downstairs with Naughty Hippo.
Yeah. That's a Brussels Griffin, and she's about 5 months old, I think. Oh, beautiful.
It's what kind? What do they call it?
Brussels Griffin.
Oh, that's neat. Brussels Griffin. Where are they out of?
Brussels, Belgium, I guess. I don't know. Yeah, they're pretty cute. We got 3 of them.
Oh, neat. Is that as big as they get, or is they going to get a little bit bigger?
She's tiny bit bigger, but not a whole lot. Yeah, she's probably our smallest. She was the runt of the litter.
I can't believe the different range of size that you find in German Shepherds. Just standard German Shepherds. My male Fabio is like a bear. He is huge, right? And then Moonshadow is like a little slender, and she's not as tall. Nothing. I mean, there's other than their features, you'd think they were different breeds of dog. It's amazing.
Have you seen a German Shepherd cross corgi? That's
no,
fantastic.
I have not.
Google it.
Real quick, LHB talks. I'm going to go ahead and I'll check that video out. And I got it on the thing up here, and it's what, a 6 minute 40. Yeah, I'll check that out after the show and see what's going on. YouTube does have some screwy shit that they do. They really do. And yeah, I'm hoping Troubling Tribune's doing okay, man. I don't know any particulars other than that. I know they said something about he's got 36 months. And
MC Toon has a page on his website. The particulars, I probably shouldn't say it on here, except that it was a sexual crime. So he's claiming innocence.
Right.
But yeah, MC Toon's got a page on his website.
Yeah, and also myself though. I know it's easy to take a paper, and what they say and the thing, but I also know this too, that our court system is the most fucked up non-justice thing I've ever seen in my life. When they say that it is the best criminal just us system in the world, it really is. I've never seen. It's not about justice. It's about notches on a fucking thing, and it's about the bond. Why do you think these judges are always so goddamn rich? It's not because of their pay. There's all kinds of shit going on with bonds and shit like that, and securities involving people being incarcerated that they're making all kinds of fucking money off of.
Your sentences are quite long, I have to say.
Yeah. I mean, we have more people in prison than any other country in the world.
Yeah, and the longest prison sentence as well, which is probably related, obviously. Yeah.
Well, it's a business. It's a business.
Yeah. The privatization of jails is ridiculous. That's insane. Yeah.
And the things is sort of like, hey, you're a really bad character. How'd you like to be a fucking guard? And it's like, how are the drugs getting into our prisons?
Oh yeah.
Would you just think about it for just 2 minutes, man?
Yeah, that happens here as well.
Yeah.
Drugs are in prison everywhere. Yeah.
It's just a big fucking factory is all that.
Anyway, let's fight.
Fight? I want to fight. I'm just wanting to see a demonstrable and repeatable experiment proving that gravity can prevent the equalization of a pressurized gas.
All right.
That's all.
So you're aware of the massive infighting shit fight between FED and Whitsitt and Jeranism, right?
I have heard that. Yeah.
Yeah. So I'm obviously on Jeranism's side that science doesn't prove things. You can falsify things with science, or you can show that something is consistent with a theory. The idea that you can prove something with science,
right?
To do so would commit a logical fallacy. Right. I think I've got a little meme. Do you have a meme on that? Probably not, actually. But basically, you have a hypothesis and you say, if my hypothesis is true, then I expect something to happen in reality.
Right.
All right. Then you go and test that with an experiment, and it does happen in reality.
Where?
It's a lot. Oh, this is just generalization.
Oh, hypothetically, I get you.
Yeah.
Not necessarily in this case, right?
Yeah. So if my hypothesis is true, I expect a certain result. I get that result, but then it's a logical fallacy to say, therefore, my hypothesis is true. That's a logical fallacy. All right. That's, in a nutshell, why science doesn't prove things, and why Jaron is correct. Hang on.
Okay.
Put in text.
But we have, what we're talking about here is a fundamental basic law, a basic principle of physics. Okay.
You're talking
And
about gravity, yeah?
No, yeah, well, I'm talking about the theory of gravity, which, as you know, is never been actually proven. This is why they've had to go to resort to things like dark matter, gravitons, fucking black holes, all manner of things, including ditching a bunch of Newtonian shit for Einsteinian shit. Now they're ditching that for other things. Okay. The fundamental thing is this, is that you can't, it just doesn't happen where you can have a pressurized gas system within a vacuum without containment, ever. It won't. It just cannot be. Gas does not behave that way. It never will behave that way. Gas could never form into a ball unto itself within a vacuum to begin with. It could never form in the first place to become big enough that it would have so much gravity on itself. There again, assuming so that it could crush in on itself and cause nuclear fusion. It's just an impossibility. I mean, it's sort of like saying if I say the fact is you can never turn into a fish, that is a fact. That is an absolute immutable fact.
Oh, no, I've just triggered me with the genetics. Don't worry.
I mean, I like when they show the hexafluoride in the thing with a little aluminum boat floating in it, right? And they're saying, see, it's got pressure with no containment. Well, what do you call the sides of that thing you got the hexafluoride in? That's fucking containment, man. It's
not contained in all directions.
Yes.
Yeah.
As
is.
No lid on it. Yes, it is. It's not, doesn't have to be. Yeah. It doesn't have to be, because of the fact that its own relative density within its own system is going to keep it at the lower level. That's all. As soon as you remove that containment, what happens to that hexafluoride? It's going to dissipate and fill. It's going to fill the empty space at the relative density in which it resides.
Right. Have you seen that? I think it's what's the gas? Whatever the gas is, it's like slightly orange, and the guy has one thing filled with that orange gas, and then the other thing's like a vacuum, and he's got a valve in the middle, right? And he flicks the valve, and it just goes whoosh. Right? Have you seen that?
I've seen different gases and things used like that. Yeah, where they demonstrate that with the vacuum. Yeah.
So if
I've actually done that experiment myself.
Yeah.
So yeah.
If I said gas moves at like approximately 500 meters per second, does that sound about right?
I don't know. I've never measured the speed. All I know is that when the pressure is great and the pressure outside is not, the tendency for equalization when the containment is breached is violent and rapid.
Excellent. That's the answer that I was looking for. Equalization is rapid.
Yep.
Okay. So currently,
that's why I like when you just barely crack a soda open, it goes psst.
Oh, that's what I
whereas to where you pop it open, it just goes psst, right?
Give me 30 seconds. 1 sec. All right, Red Bulls aren't super good, but here we go. Yeah, they're pretty low carbonated. Oh, it's my second of the day.
Now here's another variable that's not usually considered too, but you have to it does play a difference, because the pressure in that can will also, despite the outside temperature, it will be affected by temperature too.
Yep.
It'll be different. I have it wrote down because I actually looked up what it would be on a can of soda. Just because there's all the time, there's so much pedantic crap from people, and I'm like, they go, oh, well, what's the temperature of the can? And I'm like, okay, we're gonna go there, we're gonna do that shit. Okay, so here it is at 39. Let's see, at 39 degrees Fahrenheit, it's 17.4 pounds per square inch, which is about 120 kPa. And at 36.3 psi, it's 68 degrees Fahrenheit.
Okay.
Or 250 kPa at 20.
Yeah.
If you do the metric, but we don't know about that metric bullshit over here in America.
When they put like a soda can in a vacuum chamber and then pull the vacuum,
explodes.
Well, only if they heat it up. Because otherwise the pressure differential is not much. I think the soda can can withstand, I think it's something like a 70 psi differential, something. It's obscene, right? It's this tiny little thing.
Well, we had a shipment when I lived in a place in central Eastern California. There was a store where everybody got their stuff just up the road. And because of I forget whether it was an accident or the weather conditions or whatever, but anyway, 395 was blocked up. So this delivery truck took the pass, which took him up through the Sierra Mountains and then came back down so he could avoid all that, right? When he opened up the back of his truck, about half the cans of sodas were all leaking, and the potato chip bags, the potato chip bags had poofed up, and some of them had popped open and shit, It was crazy. And that was only going up about 8,000 feet, 7,000 feet, maybe.
Still would have frozen them, I guess. Yeah, they still would have frozen.
It was crazy as shit, man. But yeah, I mean, I've gone up to those altitudes with my Jeep, and you see the increase in pressure that happens to your tires. Your tires will actually increase in air pressure. And it's not from driving, because I've had it sitting there overnight while we're camping, and it's like, God damn, look at the pressure on these tires. You get back down the mountain and they're normal again.
I'm trying to think the highest altitude that I've been on land. I don't know if I've been 8,000 feet.
Yeah, where I lived at was right just at the foot of the Sierra Mountains, going into the Mojave Desert.
Okay. Right. Sierra Mountains are on the eastern side, are they?
Well, Sierra Mountains are in the west, over along California.
So Mount Cummings.
Mount Whitney, in fact, is right there in Lone Pine. It's just about 30 miles from where I live. Mount Whitney is just shy of 15,000 feet. It's the highest point of land in the contiguous United States.
Yeah, I've been up on the aqueduct to do a video, to do a flat Earth video.
Really?
And
the Los Angeles aqueduct?
Yeah.
Oh yeah. Now there's something, and that really ruined a lot of the farming and everything along the Eastern Sierra, because they took all the natural runoff water and diverted it, and it goes hundreds of miles to Los Angeles. Meanwhile, they don't have anything now. And there was actually armed water wars, man. There was people blowing up fucking pump stations and all kinds of shit when they were trying to do that aqueduct.
All right, I've posted a link in the chat. That's the thumbnail is me on the aqueduct.
Private chat. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Let me see.
Yeah.
Oh, I pulled it.
But you should play my video. You should play my video for proof of curvature.
How long is it?
Oh, it's 20 minutes.
It's 20 minutes. Oh, we're not going
to do that.
Well, let's see on there. Yeah. Now, where were you at when you took this one at?
Palmdale, Lancaster.
Okay, you were way south. You were way south than where I was at. Do you know where you've heard of Lone Pine, right?
Yeah, wouldn't be able to pick it on
the Alabama Hills, Lone Pine. Lone Pine's like where they've filmed almost every dang Western you've ever seen in there. Tremors was filmed there. Anyway, that's like where the portal road to get up to Mount Whitney is at.
Okay.
And hang on, I'm going to pull up your
Where are you?
thumbnail for it. And
yeah. So you're north. All right.
Yeah. I was north. Oh, good. Oh,
Death
shit.
Valley.
200 miles.
Yeah.
Yeah, that aqueduct like goes forever. It like seems like it really goes a long way. It's really a marvel of engineering.
We're on the ISS now.
There we go.
Oh, it's buffering. So
yeah. This thing always gives me a rough time. Always rough time. Always a rough time.
There we go.
Oh, wait, sorry.
That was my video.
There it goes. Epic doing it fucking properly.
So what's his name? Jay Tolan, right? You know the Jay Tolan Media One guy?
No, I don't. Not familiar, no.
Oh, okay. He does a lot of infrared photography, and he's pretty good at it. And he did what he called a gravity experiment. Oh, fire it up. Yes. Did what he called a gravity experiment, and it was just done incredibly poorly. And I was headed over to LA around that time. So I thought I'd go and hire a theodolite and do his measurements correctly with the proper equipment and measure some drop due to curvature. So that's what I did. And Indoctrinated says, if you prove curvature, where's your Nobel Prize? No one's going to get a Nobel Prize for showing that the Earth's a globe, Ryan. It's commonly accepted knowledge.
I mean, proven it you would, because so far it's not been proven, not at all.
Again, we talked about that concept of proof, just not being possible.
Extraordinary claims require extraordinary proof, and that's an extraordinary claim because it defies every bit of observation that we all have.
Do we want to go through how to measure drop due to curvature?
No, I want to see. I want proof that there's actually 8 inches per mile squared of curvature on the Earth. That's what I want.
Yeah, we can do that. Where's my
And I watched the whole thing. I watched 2 hours of them arguing about the goddamn surveyor theodolite, and no, it's not showing curvature. I was very speculative when I watched that. Who just did a thing on that? I was just watching somebody that did something on that like within the last week, and it was about 2 hours of them fucking around going with that thing, and I was like,
screen share.
Oh, there it is. Oh wait, I got this down here. Whoops, my bad.
Share a slide. Yeah, I haven't used share. Share screen. Which screen do I know?
See, I hear a lot of time. I don't see nothing down there yet. When I do, I'll pop it up. But I hear, yeah.
Yeah, so this is how you would. This is the first step in figuring out how you would measure curvature.
Yeah, I know, it's trigonometry. It's real simple.
Yeah,
it's not. And so what we do find is that when we put into practice and mathematically what the curvature of an Earth, a globe 24,000 miles in circumference is, this 8 or 7, actually 7.9 miles per mile squared, 7.9 inches per mile squared, we see way too far for there to be that much curvature. Another thing that we don't see is any kind of a back tilt to anything that we observe either. It just doesn't add up, and test after test after test after test prove that we can see absolutely too far. Right there again, we're using a straight line. We're pretending that the Earth is a globe and then flattening it out in order to do the calculation. I know they pointed this out. This has been the topic like all week. This has been the topic all week. They flatten the curve in order to do the triangulation.
All right, hang on one second. So first of all, when you said 7.9, this is the derivation of 8 inches per mile squared. Mm-hmm. It is actually 8.00.
See, I've seen it. I was looking at the programming into the calculator, the curvature calculator, and it was actually using 7.9 with, I think it went out to 4 decimal places, but it would round to 8. So okay.
I think it's 8.00. Anyway, there's
one tenth of an inch. 1/10 of an inch is really nothing.
Yeah. Anyway, there's my derivation of it. What did you say before? You said you see too far.
Mm-hmm. Way too far.
Do you want to discuss one of those?
Sure.
It's going to devolve into.
I mean, there's the. Oh, I know the refraction. The globers think that refraction can actually lift something up 60 feet into the air and make it appear that it's level to you. I say that that's horseshit, and there's no demonstrable proof of it, none whatsoever. And don't show me the ship that looks like it's floating in the air, because we turned the gain up on it and found the real horizon.
Yes, I agree. Fantastic. That's people get that wrong. A lot of people get that wrong. They think that it's somehow floating, and that's looming. That's
a superior mirage like that will appear upside down. And a minor refractive mirage that we see you will see a mirroring at the horizon line, but if you look carefully, you'll notice that it's an inverse of where the actual horizon line is, and you can actually pick out where that line is at. But you have to look very closely, because it's like reflecting a portion of it below it, but only enough that you can only see this, like little blurry bullshit that's going on.
Yeah, those ships floating in the air, globers alike should not use those as evidence for refraction or anything. That's just rubbish. Is there a particular observation you want to look at? I mean, I can go through. There's 5 slides in this one just to explain.
I mean, we see all. I got shitloads of video showing the ship supposedly going out over the horizon, the calculation being done, and it being brought back into view with optics, showing that this curvature is not existing.
Okay.
At all.
You're talking about ships that you can't really resolve with your eyes.
No, you can resolve them because of the fact that you can actually track those ships and know how far they are and position them.
No, but ones that you can't see with your eyes, though. Your eyes can't resolve them, so you get 100 and you see them.
Can't. You because they're beyond your the limit of your angular vision. That's why. Yeah. Right. So the optics aid and bring it back in, and then you see more apparent horizon behind them. See, the horizon is not physical. The horizon is optical.
Those
it's always it's always just apparent. So when we see what looks like a horizon and we use optics and we pull in a wider field of view, we actually can see that we can actually see more horizon beyond the point that we thought was this physical edge. It is not a physical edge. It is a optical, because it's the limit of the view. That's all.
But those boats that you're talking about that you bring back into view, those just haven't gone over the horizon. If you can bring it back into view,
nothing goes over the horizon, Rufy. Nothing ever goes over the horizon. It goes into the horizon.
So if I show you a boat that's obscured bottom up, is that not over the horizon?
No, it's not. It's not. It's not over the horizon. That's just how angular perspective works. Now, the refraction that you were speaking of will cause blurriness and distortion at the bottom portion of that, because that is now a lot of people call it a vanishing point. I refer to it as a vanishing zone, because it's everywhere along the horizon, you see.
All right. So this is an example of a boat obscured bottom up, and Rayleigh's criterion has a formula. And that's the formula: sine theta equals 1.22 times lambda over the diameter of the aperture. Mm-hmm. I'm yet to see a flat earther actually apply Rayleigh's criterion to any observation. So I thought I would, and just show that it doesn't have anything to do with bottom up obstruction to begin with. And even if it did, the amount of unresolvability is not consistent with the observation. So there's 2 claims there I've made. Number one, it has nothing to do with bottom-up obstruction in the first place. And number two, even if it did, it's not enough to explain the observations.
Actually, it is, because it's not really a haul up. It's everything going into the horizon. Okay. That refraction that you spoke of is right there at that vanishing zone. Okay. Now, another thing that you're looking at too is that the further away the object gets as we view it, even with optics, things in the foreground are still going to appear much larger than the object in the background. So even when we've got waves and things like that, and it's the same thing as like this, you see, I can't cover my face. You can still see my face, right? But as my face gets further from the camera, well, let me see. I cover more and more of my face. I didn't move, right? But that little finger is still causing more and more obstruction of my face because it's closer to you. Well, the same thing happens when you zoom in on something with an optic. The things in the foreground, it has to do with this. It's sort of like this used to freak me out when I was a little kid, man. I'd see the State of the Union address, and they'd have the vice president and the Speaker of the House behind the president, right? But from the camera view, because it was zoomed in, it looked almost like those motherfuckers were sitting right up on his ass, right behind him. I thought, God damn, they're close, right? But then you see another view of it, and they're sitting probably 10 or 15 feet behind him. This is all because of what a field of view like that will do to optics. And it's due to the more closer things actually appearing larger than the smaller things in the background. The same ratio remains true as you magnify it.
Right, but the angular size of something doesn't actually change when you zoom in. It just takes up more of the field of view. That's all. Right,
but the proportion of everything within that view still stays the same. You're just getting a magnified view of it.
Yeah. So yeah, like in your example, the camera would have been way at the back, right?
Right. Proportions can never be out from one another. They can never be out from one another. This is why when I say that the shadow of the moon cast by the sun, and this is by the penumbra part, the pinpoint part, right? Because apparently for some reason they have two shadows, but that one leaves a spot 70 miles in diameter. Okay. And this is from a moon that is supposedly 2,160 miles in diameter. So if I take, so if I take the 70, there's my fraction, 70 over 2,160. Now, if I want to find in proportion what that shadow on the Earth would leave onto the moon, then all I have to do is multiply that shadow size times the 7,918 mile diameter of the Earth, then divide it by the 2,116 or 160 miles of the moon, and that'll give me a shadow size of 255.6 miles. Then we would have to have an umbra that would be in proportion to that as well.
That's just not how the geometry works.
That's not how what?
That's not how the geometry works. It's not like a ratio like that.
It has to be a ratio. It cannot be out of proportion.
It's not how it works.
Because we're dealing with divergent sun rays. Sun rays don't do what your thing is showing there at all. Your sun rays do not do that ever in real life. Sun rays are always, sun rays are always divergent from its source. All light sources are divergent from its source unless directed by a lens, like a laser. They never come in together and converge. They don't also go parallel ever. We don't ever see parallel sun rays coming from the sun. It's always radial. It always divergent rays. So these diagrams don't reflect reality at all. You can experiment with shadows. A lot of times these diagrams and shit are used and made up, I believe, by people who have actually never went outside and observed a shadow and played with their shadow. My God, when I was a kid, we used to I had fun doing shit with my shadow, make myself all tall, try to mimic, you know, do a dance with I mean, all kinds of shit. Try to see what kind of a shadow different things would make at different angles. They never behave that way. When something gets too far from the light source and the distant thing, then it doesn't leave any shadow whatsoever.
Okay, but the light from the sun goes in all directions, right? All directions, not
all directions
just
away
radially.
from the point of light.
Well,
all directions
can you see
away from the point of light.
cursor?
Never ever do they go or cross each other or come back on each other. Nothing. They never cross. They never become parallel. They always radiate away from the source of light.
Okay, so this point here that I'm pointing at, light goes that way, goes that way, goes that way, it goes that way, it goes that way, and it goes that way. It goes in all directions, right? From every point.
Right.
Right. So there is a ray that goes from this point and touches tangent to the moon. There is a single ray.
Top of it. It isn't. No, it isn't. It's going.
You're saying there's no.
How are your rays coming together like this? How are they doing this? They never do this. No ray. No fucking. The whole word ray comes from the word radiate, which is another word from radial or radius. It means in a circular pattern, an array, not
I thought we just agreed, though. I thought we just agreed that from this point on the sun, this point that I'm pointing at, there's a ray going to the left, there's a ray going up, there's a ray going to the right.
They're all going perpendicular from the center. They're all coming directly radiating from the center of that sun.
If that
if you drew the lines out, they were all radiating from the center of that circle, not from the edge down and not from the bottom up or any of that.
So you think it's just like that?
Yes.
Okay. It's not. It's like this.
All light
like this.
No, it isn't. All light is doing it only like a sea urchin. Do a sea urchin spines ever converge together and touch? No. They never will. Because they're radial. They're not. I don't know what that is. You have a little.
This is what it is, right? If it was like radial, like you said, then
it has no choice but to be radial. Show me a light that does not shine radially, other than a laser. Show me any light source that doesn't radiate. This is why a light source looks bigger. When you get back from it, I can take a little bitty flashlight like that and shine it toward you, and it's going to look that big at your eyes. Right. It's because it's radiating from the cone of the thing. The beam goes in a cone, bigger and bigger until it dissipates from its source. It's never going to converge like that. That's ridiculous. And we've never seen parallel sun rays ever.
If it was radial, like you're saying, right, then we would not, the sun would not have an angular size because this is the only ray that would reach you.
Well, that's how we know that it's not a giant ball of burning gas 93 million miles away. It doesn't behave that way. We see radial sunlight. We see divergent sun rays. We never see parallel sun rays. And all light sources, the rays of light, as per the name, rays radiate from the object. They don't just go willy-nilly every fucking direction.
If that was true, then this is the only. I know, but if it was true, this is the only ray that you would see. You wouldn't see the rest of the sun.
Why would that be the only ray that you see?
Because all the rest would miss, right? They'd go off this direction if they're radial.
You think each ray is like 500 miles apart or something, or what?
This is the only ray that you would see is the one.
Radiance. It's a radiance. It's not little lines of light coming out of the sun. We use those to denote the direction of the radiance of it.
Let's start again.
It's going out in all directions in a circle from it if it's sitting like that, unless it's a directed light, and then it's going to go in a conical pattern from the source to the target. Not the opposite. That's what you would have if the moon was shining on the sun. That's what you would have if you had the moon shining on the sun. This is why it's nothing ever in history makes a shadow smaller than itself.
hang on. Just we've got to go one point at a time and resolve one thing at a time.
All right.
If it was the case that it only shot rays that were radial, then the only ray that would reach you is this one, the big one.
Okay, I'm going to show you why this is not right. Hold on.
Okay, that's the only one that you would see, and you would not see. Hang on. Where's what's that? That'll do. You wouldn't see this part of the sun because none of the light would reach you. So the sun would be a point source, and it demonstrably is not a point source. You see an angular size to the sun, so you are getting a ray. Oops, there is a ray from here reaching your eye, and there is a ray from here reaching your eye, because the sun shoots light in all directions from every point.
Okay, I'm gonna try to draw something here.
Okay.
Give me 1 sec.
Yep.
Okay. So there's our sun. We'll make our little moon.
Oh, I'll stop sharing 1 sec. There you go.
Okay. All right. So maybe y'all can see that. The yellow circle, that's going to be our sun.
Yep.
This over here is our other object, right?
Yep.
So the sun, the light from the sun radiates not in little lines, but maybe this will explain it a little better. What we end up with is this. The light leaves the object like this. Okay? The light leaves the object like this in all directions. So imagine the bulb with a globe, because y'all like that, a globe of light radiating from this point of light that will get out to whatever size until it diffuses because of the however strong its source of power is. Light does not travel forever and ever and ever and ever and ever and ever. It doesn't do that. So it goes until it dissipates enough that it can no longer be seen. Light is the brightness of a light is consistent to the source of power that's put into it. So what you would have, you see, is it would, when it's diffracted, like through our clouds, we end up seeing the rays coming in then you can see individual rays. Then those rays, because when it's a sunny day and you go outside and you're standing there, you don't see any rays of light. Only when the light is diffused or diffracted by something can you ever see the rays. If it's obscured by something and having to shine through something with holes usually, like the clouds, then you see divergent rays coming through. Never any parallel rays. They never come through parallel. And certainly it doesn't go. Look, this is crazy, man. Because where's my tool? To suggest that these things are coming in like this.
Okay, but let's say
that's why would they do that? Because what's going to happen here, because of that source of light, what's going to happen is the shadow of this is actually going to get much bigger. As
hang on,
that's all that's going to happen. This here with these rays coming in at an angle towards something like that doesn't happen.
So let's say that the gray circle, instead of a planet, let's call that just your observer. That's you. That's your eye. Okay. Just call it your eye for a minute. Can you see the top of the sun?
Yeah.
Okay. So there is light coming from the top of the sun.
But it's not coming in lines. It's because it's radiant. It's filled in. It's radiant.
Okay. So I'm kind of guessing that you deny sort of photons, quantized light.
I don't know. I don't really subscribe to it. I don't see any proof to it at all. I see light as a result of energy is all. It's just an expenditure of energy. I mean, that would be like trying to say that a fire is a tangible object, which it's not. Fire is just a reaction to the release of energy. That's all. I mean, does fire have mass? Does fire have?
I don't know, actually.
No, it doesn't. It doesn't have. It's fire. It's a reaction. Same thing as light. It's a reaction to a release of energy. That's all.
Okay, but you can see the top of the sun, right? So there is a path between your eye and, you know, can we assume that light travels for a minute? There is a path of light from the top of the sun to your eye. So I don't know why you're.
No, actually, it's all incorporated. It's not like I'm looking up down a sun ray or something at the sun. That light is radiant from the entire thing. So the fact that there is light is why I can see the top of the sun. It doesn't depend on me looking through a parallel or a angled ray or anything else like that. It doesn't matter.
Okay, not too sure where to go from here, because it seems pretty fundamental that light bounces off objects in all directions, and that's how you see.
Well, it will reflect off of things, but it will never reflect off of anything with the intensity that it's shown with, unless that has absolute reflective properties, such as a mirror.
Right. But you know, light reflects
like for light to bounce off of something, 500,000 miles from or 500 million miles from its source, and then reflect that light back another 500 million miles to me. That's a pretty outrageous claim. That really is.
Let's try not to skip.
I'm just saying that people don't really understand how light really behaves, and it's because they go by the assumption that light can travel forever, and it doesn't. There is no proof of that whatsoever.
Well, saying there's no proof of it and saying it doesn't are two different claims.
Well, is there a can you turn into a chicken? I claim you cannot turn into a chicken. Is that true or not? Is that a proof?
I agree that I can't.
All right,
they're different claims.
So
to say one's
light,
being disparate.
in all of our experience with light, okay, we have never observed an instance where light travels infinitum. We have never witnessed ever an instance where light travels infinitum. Okay, it has been supposed that it does, but we have never seen an instance of it. And there's nothing to suggest that it should.
We'll get to that.
I know without a medium to diffuse it, it's not necessarily the medium in totality that diffuses how far light goes.
All right.
It's a combination of the medium and ultimately the source power of the light.
Yeah, we're just going down little rabbit holes, and I'm trying to get us back onto one single thing.
Well, sure. I'm just saying we have to fundamentally and know the behavior and properties of light to make some of these claims, especially when it comes to shadows and where the ratios don't add up. Because the only time we see this where they tell us what's going on is in a diagram. Never, ever can we reproduce this effect. We can't do it. It's always in a diagram. And of course, anyone who has ever experienced shadows, which I'm sure, and I hope all of you have, would know that shadows do not behave that way. Have any of you ever seen a shadow of yourself or of anything that is smaller than the object that's casting the shadow itself?
Well, that depends on the size of the light relative to the object. Anyway, what I wanted to say.
In other words, I could stand behind you in a dark room with a small flashlight, and it would make a small shadow onto the wall of you. Well, of course, there you go. That's a pretty relative difference right there. So if I use a great big mag light or a little tiny pen light, I'm going to get the same results, ain't I?
No.
Yes. I will get the same size fucking shadow.
If you use a torch on a human being, the shadow will be larger.
Yeah.
If you use an enormous light on a person, then the umbra will be smaller.
No, the entire shadow will be the same size as it was with the fucking flashlight. Absolutely. Absolutely.
I was going to say, when sunlight hits a car, right?
Mm-hmm.
And would you agree then that the light bounces off the car in all directions?
It bounces. I see it because of the light that bounces toward my eyes.
Yeah, and same for me. I'm a concurrent observer.
So on the other side of the car, I don't see that because it's not bouncing back to my eyes.
Right, but we can both see the same part of the car at the same time because light's bouncing off in all directions.
Right, all directions. Okay. Not converging together.
Okay. We can see all parts of the car. Well, not all parts of the car. We can see lots of parts of the car because it's bouncing off all those parts in all different directions.
Mm-hmm. No, well, it's going to bounce. It's going to reflect off of it the same way as the sun is radiating it. It's going to go in the shape of whatever it's reflecting off of.
Yeah, but
I just have a quick question for Rufy. Have you ever been to a beach?
Yes, I have many times.
All right. Have you had somebody standing beside you, say that's like 5'10", and then they walk down the beach, and they get way down the beach, and they keep getting smaller and smaller and smaller as they go out of your view? Did they shrink, or are they still the same size?
They have the same linear size. Their angular size gets smaller.
That's right. It's your perception.
Perspective, right? Did you think I didn't know that?
Well, the way you're talking, I wasn't sure, so I decided to come up and ask. Anyways, y'all carry on. Thank you. Okay. You answered your own questions. Yeah.
The fact that flat earthers think we don't understand perspective is...
Well, I can demonstrably prove that because you think that things go over a horizon. And the horizon is not physical, it's optical. So if you understood perspective, you would know that. We see the horizon increase in distance as we rise in elevation, right? Because we increase our field of view. But it still remains. It'll still remain. And these people want to say, no, it's down below eye level. Zoom in. It's at eye level. It's just beyond your apparent visual perspective.
It's not at eye level.
Okay. If you zoom in the lens, you will see that it indeed is. You are comparing an apparent horizon with what you think is a physical horizon. Okay, it is not physical. It is apparent.
Do you want to know how many measurements of the horizon I've made?
Yeah, it doesn't matter. I don't care how many measurements you made of it at all. The horizon does not curve. I've done them too. I've done the measurements too, bro. I've done the measurements too, and I'm sorry, it's just not there. I mean, when you can see Chicago from across Lake Michigan, and they panic and come on and say, oh, well, that's a mirage. But then somebody goes and gets in a boat at the opposite shore, puts it on camera, and continues across the lake, keeping it in view the whole time. And nothing changes other than the city just gets bigger. The skyline just gets bigger as he gets closer to it. That's not how mirages act, man. And that skyline should be well over a curve. So, let's
stop skipping around. The horizon is measurably not at eye level. Measurably not.
Okay.
Yeah. I've made literally hundreds of measurements to the horizon.
Still ain't no fucking curvature.
Well, it is.
Whatever.
We'll get to,
There's
Do we agree?
never been any measurable curvature. There's never been any proof of axial rotation.
Can we resolve a
Hold
single
on, wait a
point?
second. I'm just going to say these are some impossibilities. There's never been any proof of axial rotation. There's never actually been any proof of anything orbits the sun.
Okay,
Nothing.
But the point we're on right now is that the horizon is not at eye level. I have
Okay.
measured the horizon.
Well, if you say so,
times.
I'll go ahead and say, all right, it may appear slightly below eye level, but not due to curvature. So it appears slightly below your eye level, but this is not a proof of curvature.
Okay, but the measurements are consistent and predicted by a globe.
But we don't, then again, once we get onto it, you understand that this is exponential. It's not just going 1 mile, then checking another. This gets exponential as we increase in distance, because this is why we have to square the mile in order to do the calculation, right? This is because it's an exponential fucking decrease or increase in curvature as the distance increases. Okay.
Right.
So when we see things that should be well hidden beyond a curve, hey, I know all about this shit. You know why? Because I've cut trees down before, and I want to make sure they're not going to smash anything. So not teaching me anything new there.
I know, but the measurements of the angle down to the horizon are consistent with and predicted by the globe model. That's just an empirical fact. So I've got the geometry on the screen there, and that's the prediction for the globe. And I go out and measure it, and that's what it is. It's very, very close to that.
What's that red line? What's it? Hold on, wait. Hold on a second here. Yeah, well, here's the problem, though. Here's the problem. You can use that all day long if you want to. I don't care. The fact remains, we still see things that should be well beyond the curvature. Things that should be completely hidden by the curvature, and it is not a product of refraction.
Well,
it is not a mirage.
But we keep skipping everywhere.
No, I'm not skipping everywhere. You're showing me this guy looking out over a ball. Nobody's looking out over a ball.
This is the prediction.
This guy, hold on, wait a second. This guy is literally looking fucking down. Look, from where he's standing, he's looking down. Don't look down, look across.
You do look down to the horizon.
No, you don't. The horizon
we just went through this a minute ago.
The horizon rises up.
No, it doesn't.
It does so. It does.
I've got the measurements. I've measured it literally hundreds of times.
If the horizon went down, you would have to look down to see a ship going away.
You
don't look down to see a ship going away.
Do.
You look out to the distance to see a ship going away. I don't care what your cartoon shows. That's not reality.
Hang on, let me show you.
That isn't even reality, bro.
Hang on a sec.
Come on.
Hang on a sec.
That guy's looking like, what, 45 degrees down.
Oh, that's the geometry. Right, here's a photo.
So why would you use 45 degrees down when it's not reality?
It's just doing the geometry, right? Now, on screen now, this is an auto level, not a theodolite. So the horizontal line there is eye level. Okay, and that's a boat.
Wait. All right, so it's just sitting there on the edge, right? That boat's just sitting on the edge.
No,
and
it's hidden by the horizon.
Just on the precipice of going on beyond where you can't see. Because where's the rest of the fucking ocean at?
No. Where's the rest of the boat?
Hold on. No. If you was to be able to zoom this thing in, and I'm not talking about the picture you've taken, but if you were able to zoom that in, you would see that horizon extends way beyond that fucking boat. You just can't see it without fucking magnification. That's all.
Let me show you the boat. Hold on. Let me show you the boat. What was the boat again? I gotta find this.
What kind of elevation were you at too?
13 meters, I think.
And I mean, if you think you have to turn your camera, I don't know. I've never ever had to look 45 degrees down to see the horizon. I don't know what kind of
45 degrees. That was just.
I'm going to ask the chat.
Well, it's obviously not to scale. It's to work out the geometry. Now let me find the boat. Hold on.
Oh, wait,
where is it?
Okay, so have You ever
There it is.
had to look down 45?
The answer is no. Don't ask
degrees?
silly questions.
Well, that's what you're showing.
Yeah, it's to get the geometry.
Well, if you have to fucking fudge shit to get the geometry, then it's not
fudged.
geometry, is it?
It's not. Would you like me to draw it to scale? Would you like it to scale?
God. Hold
Let's do
on
it
a
to
second.
scale. Would you like me to do it to scale?
Yeah.
Yes. Okay. I'll share screen again. 1 second. Right, share screen. Oop. Oops. There. Window GeoGebra. All right, there we go. Dip correction.
Oh, well, I'll wait for you to draw it and stuff. But no,
I've already drawn
I'm going to see, because I've never had to look down to see the horizon.
Well, it's
really,
measurably
I don't know where you're getting that crazy shit from.
44,500 height.
Not
Yeah,
looking
how high
good.
was I?
91% so far not ever had to look down to see the horizon.
Well, it's measurably down. Don't use your eyes to measure it.
Oh, no. You can't trust your senses. Listen to math instead. Are you shitting me?
There was a good
Do you live in a math
demonstration.
equation? Hold on. Do you live in a math equation, or do you live on
No.
on Earth?
I'm saying that precision instruments are better at measuring than your eyes are.
Really?
Yes.
Okay. I would tend to say that that's not necessarily true.
Okay, there was a demonstration by this guy called Rory a couple of years ago. And what he did is he stood 5 or 6 meters back on one side of the room, and he picked a point on the far wall and looked at that point and said, that's where I think eye level is. And he walked across and kept his eyes on that point, and he was about 3 or 4 inches off. Your eyes are not good at measuring things.
3 or 4 inches is not tens and hundreds of feet. Okay.
Right.
When you can see an object that should be well beyond the curvature and out of your sight, when using an optic due to curvatures, is why it should be out of your sight. And you can bring it back into view using a magnifying optic. This would indicate that curvature is not there. That's what that indicates. That's what that shows. You see? That's absolutely what it shows. Not looking good, man. 92% say that they have never had to look down to see the horizon.
Well, they've never measured it. Do another poll. Have you ever measured the horizon?
Why do I have to measure to know that I'm not looking down at my dick right now? I mean, I'm looking straight on, right? So I don't need a measurement I don't need a measurement or a fucking calculation or any other thing to tell me right now that I'm not looking down at the floor. I know that I'm not looking down at my keyboard. I know that I'm looking straight ahead. My vestibular system tells me that I am looking straight ahead. Okay.
To what accuracy do you think?
To enough accuracy to know that I can see shit that is beyond what I should be able to see it at.
Okay. Do you think your measurement with your eyes is accurate to like 1/10 of a degree?
Mine? Hell no.
Yeah. Okay.
Not anymore. Not anymore. I used to have 10/10 vision now.
Okay. So my measuring instrument, my angle measuring instrument is better than your eyes.
Well, apparently not, because you're having to look down at a horizon that's never down. So I don't know what the fuck you're looking at or what's wrong with your instrument, but that's never occurs, man.
It's measurably down. I challenge anyone.
Your apparent horizon may seem that it's below the crosshairs, but if this instrument is the apparent horizon, yes, I agree that the apparent horizon in that picture is below the crosshairs. However, if that instrument is level, the actual horizon, and if you were to zoom in, you would see that is at the crosshairs.
No, it's not.
Yeah,
it's not.
What did you zoom in? Did you zoom in?
It is zoomed in.
No, zoom in beyond that.
It doesn't get any
Yes, it
any
does.
closer to the
Yes,
crosshairs.
it does. It does
No,
that
it
every
doesn't.
time. This is
This is
why
hilarious.
this is why when we zoom in on a distant object, we see more horizon beyond it.
When you zoom in,
When you zoom in
that
on an
gap gets
object, you
bigger.
see more horizon beyond it.
Oh, here we go. Sorry, Sean Elke. He probably added those crosshairs after. Incorrect. I'll show you the auto level. Hold on.
No, I fully believe that the picture is absolutely real, but what I just said is 100% true.
It
Because
doesn't.
if the instrument is level, the actual horizon beyond that view is going to be at that. You can't resolve it because you cannot resolve it because of the angular limitations of the lens. Once that lens is increased, you will see that those crosshairs will indeed meet up to the horizon, the same as they did when you zoomed out.
Hang on, there we go. Let me
The
share
same as
this
they
one
did
again.
when you zoomed out.
Let me share this one again. Hold on. How do I change the screen? All right, so it's back up again. The oh, did you actually see the ship? So that, yeah, just a quick tangent.
Yes, you had this up before.
Yeah, so that's the ship, right? I'll show you the actual ship that it was.
Okay.
That's the ship.
Okay.
Okay.
Why did it change color?
Why did it change color?
Yeah.
Because it's below the horizon.
No, it's not below. Nothing can go below the horizon. So no, it's not. So wait a second. The ship changed color
No.
to white because it went over the horizon. And let me ask you something. How were you able to see over the horizon? Do you have a special camera that sees around corners?
No, most of the ship was over the horizon. We're just seeing that top bridge.
That little small bridge you're trying to say is that complete long thing.
That's that thing, yes. Oops.
Yeah. I'm not buying that.
You're not.
Sorry,
You're not.
just not buying that. And also, you also haven't taken into account what I've just told you a little bit ago. Why is the bridge so long now?
What do you mean?
Well, I mean, how far out is that?
That's a good question. Where is the
I mean, because they're close up, it wasn't nearly as wide like that. You didn't see that shit.
Oh, you're talking about
are you talking about that's going away from you? Is that going?
Are you talking about the width of this?
Oh, yeah. You remember what we did with the finger and the fucking covering up? You remember all objects? Yeah, you have waves, bro.
All right, but you're talking about this width, right?
Yeah, okay. I get you now. You didn't explain that. It's moving away from me.
Mostly sideways.
Okay.
Mostly sideways.
All right. Yeah.
Cool.
And we don't know.
Where's the hull?
We don't know.
Where's the hull of the ship?
Where's the hull of the ship?
Yes.
It's obscured by all of the shit in the foreground. That's all.
The ocean, obscured by the ocean.
Yes, absolutely.
I agree.
What did I just explain to you with the perspective? What did I just explain to you? Look at this little tiny wave. Now look at this little tiny wave.
Okay.
Do you see?
Okay. I'm at 13 meters elevation, right?
Okay.
Okay. Let's draw this on a flat Earth, actually. So let's.
I bet you if you'd have zoomed in on that ship, you would have seen even more of it.
I am zoomed in.
That's as far as you can zoom in. Use a P900, bro. You can see way further than that. You can see way further than that.
So let's. Sorry. This going back to the 5 minutes ago. This is to scale of what the angle down to the horizon is.
Mm-hmm.
So there you go. If you want it in scale, there it is.
Okay.
I will share the link. 1 second. What's going on here? There we go. Copy. Link. I'll put it in the comments, actually. 1 sec. Connect to comments. Boom. Oops. Not that one. Fuck. Sorry. Cancel. Go back. Connect. That one. Allow.
I don't know. Not looking good, man. One guy says he accidentally hit yes, and 88% are telling me that they didn't. They've never had to look down to see the horizon.
Okay. Did you do the other poll saying have they measured the horizon?
All I did was ask him, do you have to look down to see the horizon? Your diagram showed a person looking down to see the horizon.
Yes.
Yeah, and nobody just had to do that.
Okay.
So your diagram was wrong.
Next poll. Well, I've got the sort of 2 scale diagram on the screen now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Now, what's our distances going across there, linear? In the direction of the.
So we are we're 10 meters above the surface.
And what's that linear distance
between where and where?
Well, between the left and the right, from the point where your observer's at over to the right hand side. I'm assuming that's your observer where the red lettering's at.
Yeah, observer's there. Okay. Horizon is there.
Okay.
That distance will be.
Why would you have to look down at that? That looked like it was straight on to me.
No, 0.09 degrees, 1/10 of a degree.
Wow. And you really call that looking down? Yes. I'm sorry, that's just ridiculous. Anyway,
is it looking up?
Well, it's looking straight ahead. It's looking straight ahead. Your vision, as I stated before, your vision always goes in to an angle to a vanish. Okay, from left to right, from right to left, from up to down, from down to up. Always.
Looking straight ahead is 0. Straight ahead is 0. This is not 0. You're looking down.
Okay. All right. So in this distance right here, what are we looking at? I don't know what these big squares represent. What, miles? Going to the right. Going to the right. Meters.
You wanted it to scale. So
I'm just saying. Nobody's. It's funny because we still see shit well beyond the curve that we should see it at.
Okay. There's the horizon at 12 kilometers. That is.
Okay.
Yeah. Yeah. So if we give it a huge height, oops, by the way. So this is still to scale, but the viewer is now, the viewer is now 1,400 kilometers high. All right, let's bring him down.
Well, so I agree that if there was actually curvature when you increased in elevation, you would have to do that. But there again, we're talking about if, and we still have not really clarified or proven the if, because when we put that into practice, your graph does not match what we actually.
Yes, it does.
No, it doesn't, because it doesn't, because when you go, listen to me. When you go up when you increase in elevation, you don't have to start looking down to see the fucking horizon ever.
Yes,
nobody ever has.
Yes, you do.
Nobody ever has had to look down to see the fucking horizon from an elevation on Earth.
Yes, you do.
Never, ever in the history of fucking observations has anybody ever done that. I will fucking bank on that.
Oh, so will I. How much?
I mean, 89% of people with elevation people, have you ever had to look down to see the goddamn, like, for instance, you're up on an airplane. There's going to be a lot of people when we go to Flattoberfest be taking airplanes.
Yep.
Just pay attention and see on that aircraft if you have to look down to see the horizon.
Yes,
I bet you don't. I bet you just look right out the fucking window and see it.
There is an app. There's an app you can get on your phone.
We don't live in a goddamn app.
Understood.
We don't live in an app. I'm talking about what you visualize as opposed to what you just showed on this blue cartoon here.
Okay.
When you raise up there, that shows your elevation, you're increasing, and your view line angle increasing. And we don't increase in a view angle like that ever in the history of anything. Nobody ever has.
Again, your eyes are not great at measuring angles.
It doesn't fucking matter. I'm not looking down at an angle. I happen to know if my neck is bent or my eyes are looking down, bro. I don't need a fucking meter to tell me that.
Okay, I agree. You don't need to bend your neck to look down about 3 degrees, but you are looking down
when you just showed that elevation, when you just showed that increase of elevation, that angle of view increased fucking ridiculously. It
Hang on, let's
increased
go
ridiculously.
Let's go 5 kilometers. Hang on, no, 10 kilometers. Sorry, 10 kilometers. 10 kilometers, you're looking down about 3 degrees.
How high are you?
10 kilometers, so
You're 10 kilometers
33,000
high
feet.
and you're looking down 3 degrees.
Yes.
Okay, now take it up to 35,000 feet, whatever that goes.
That is 10
Take it up
kilometers,
to
isn't
the airline height.
Yeah, that
Take
is
it up
about
to
that.
cruising altitude of a 747, and you show me that angle, what that's going to look like with that scale. That's insane.
10,667. 10.667. There you go. So a bit over 3 degrees. Yeah.
You just lifted that. You just took my observer up to the height of a fucking airliner.
Yep.
No, you didn't.
Yes, I did.
Zoom that in.
10.6 kilometers.
Zoom that in. Okay. Now move it to the left. Move it to the left.
Move to this way.
Yep. Okay. What's that angle? No one is ever looking at that angle. No one ever. No, they aren't. No, they aren't.
Measurably, they are.
No, they aren't, dude. No,
Measurably, they are. There's
they
stacks of people. They get the
there's
theodolite app.
Yeah, there's stacks of people that are fucked in the head too, because you're never looking down at that angle. You are never looking down like that at the horizon ever in the history of any views. I'm sorry, that's just crazy.
Okay, like I said, there are stacks of people. They get the theodolite app on their phone. Theodolite for iPhone, and it's called Dioptra. On
I'm well aware of it. Aware of it. Yeah.
So again, these people in the chat,
shit doesn't work out, man. Trust me. Look, there's no curvature, and the two biggest problems are still not solved. They still are not solved. You can't have large bodies of water assuming the shape of some fucking object that they're on. That never happens. Ever in the history of physics will that ever happen. And you cannot have gas pressure without containment. Just can't do it. I mean, these are fundamental facts of nature. These are just fundamental facts of nature. And this idea that you're looking down at the horizon, you are not looking down at the horizon.
Well,
you have, if your observer, listen to me, when your observer magnifies.
Oh, you're stuck. Where's my internet shit?
Yep. When you magnify your field of view, when you magnify that, you are going to absolutely have, you will see more horizon beyond it. We see that with objects, just like you were just showing with that ship. You take a zoom lens and you zoom in on it, and the funniest thing that happens is you see more horizon beyond the distant object. Which, how could that be? How can I see around a curve?
Yeah.
Another thing that we run into that's a problem is the way that water.
You keep cutting out. Is that me, my internet? Can you still hear me? You cut out. Oh, we're back. We back?
It's telling me I have an unstable.
Yeah.
Only time I ever have an unstable connection is when I'm on this fucking stream.
Yeah.
Any other time I'm using internet, no problem. Ain't got no fucking problem. No videos lag, nothing at all. As soon as I go fucking live, boom, there it goes.
Yeah.
And it's because the fucking powers that be don't like what we talk about.
Yeah.
So maybe it's because I haven't done it. Maybe I have to do this first. I have to shout out to my agent out there. I hope you're enjoying the content. Okay.
The poll in the chat. So he said, have you ever had to look down? And it's 82% to 18.
Yeah, one guy said that he accidentally hit the fucking yes. Okay.
All right, I hit yes. For those that say no, please get the Theodolite app or the Dioptra app. And when you go to Flattoberfest, measure the horizon and then do the poll again.
There you go. Okay, there it is. So now, how many of you are convinced we're going to do a new poll? And this will be a good one. So, are you convinced after this demonstration that there is curvature or convexity of Earth?
Oh, the question should be, is the horizon below eye level?
Well, that would indicate that there was. I mean, we're seeing. You're still. That's another thing that we. Fucking thing. God damn this fucking thing. Am I back? Am I back?
Yes.
Fucking crazy shit. So another thing too is we have to also remember that we do not live on a cylinder either. Okay,
right.
That's another thing. So convexity should be measurable in every direction, and we really don't have that. So, well, I've never seen enough convexity, to indicate to me that this Earth that we're on is some kind of a ball. I've never seen any proof that water can adhere to the shape of the outside of an object ever.
Oh, frozen again.
Based on unprovable shit, speculative pseudoscience, like the theory of gravity. This is more of the pseudoscience that goes along with this belief system that's taking that we're
Lisa just made a very
subjected
good point.
To the there's just too much conjecture, there's too much assumption without demonstrable non-anecdotal evidence. Okay, the assumption of a distance to the sun, the assumption of convexity, the assumption of orbits of the sun. All of this is based off of assumptions, the assumption of the distance to the sun in order to support this helio-nonsensical model, which there isn't any. People always appeal to authority without actual evidence. I urge you, I really do. I urge you.
You cut out again.
God damn this motherfucking thing.
Yes.
Just for yourself and your own entertainment. Am I back? Cool.
Yes. Yep.
Just see if you can pick out the assumptions used in their calculations. They're everywhere. And it depends on where you go for the answer. Some tell you that they used an orbital radius of Venus. Some tell you they used some kind of different observers and triangulated it. They tell you a whole manner of bullshit.
There are two ways,
any kind of proof. One of them actually said, and this was at science.org, said about the Greeks, okay, when they already had calculated this stuff and figured this out, that since the sun, even though the sun and the moon appear to be the same size, since the sun is so bright, it must be further away. What the fuck is that?
Just rubbish.
Why? Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. Then we get to these scientists who sit there and watch Venus transit the sun, which nobody's ever seen this. They go they've never seen that. It's an extraordinary claim.
What?
Yes, nobody's ever seen it transit the sun.
It happened in like 2012, I think.
Did you see it?
I didn't see it, but there's plenty
of
evidence.
No, you didn't,
that
but
happened.
somebody else saw it and told you that it happened.
Okay, but that's a different claim to saying it never happened.
No. We're getting the information from the very people that we're talking about are lying to us in the first fucking place. Okay? So this what they do is they just went ahead and said, oh, well, since the orbital radius of Venus is such an amount, and another one that I read said, since Venus is the same size as Earth, and I'm like, how in the hell do you know how big Venus is? We're trying to figure. You're trying to measure the distance of the sun. How did you get a measurement of Venus already?
You don't need a measurement of the size of Venus. That's just not true.
Well, it's one of them that I read from one of the big science outfits here.
Yeah. So I've got on screen. Show the meme that I've got now.
Mm-hmm.
Distance to the sun using Venus. All right. So the paper they did in 1961, and of course you're going to dismiss the paper, of course.
Well, wait a second. First off, how did they know of anything about Venus?
They fire radar to Venus and get a
fire radar. Hold on. How far away is Venus?
Well, they work out it was three and a quarter.
How far away is Venus? Well, what do they tell us Venus is? How far away it is?
Well, in this time, it's 3 and a quarter light minutes.
Okay, so and that works out to what, 85 million miles, about
60 million kilometers, something like that.
Okay,
something like that. Whatever
it was. They have a radar. So hold on a second too. You say that they sent a radar beam about 85,000 miles to this thing. A radar signal.
60 million kilometers are there.
Yeah, that's a long fucking way. That'd take a hell of a transmitter.
Yeah.
That'd take a hell of a transmitter. And then what? And so it bounced off Venus and came back to Earth, and that told them how far away it was.
Yes. They said, I can't remember the power of the.
Hold on. Wait. Hold on. How many light minutes did you say that was?
3 and a quarter.
3 and a quarter. So 6.5 minutes.
Yep.
From the time you fire the laser to the time you get a signal back, right?
Yep.
Okay. So let's see how far the Earth would have moved out of position in 6.5 minutes.
Yeah, long way.
So all we have to do is let's get our little handy calculator here, and we'll say that 66 point. We'll just say 67,000.
Yeah, long way. Let's just call it a long way.
Okay,
call it a long way. All right.
All right. So here's the problem. Yeah. You would be well out of where the signal came out back to. Okay. You would be so far out of position that you would not receive it back. Now, I know what you're going to say. You're going to say that because it spreads, right?
Yes.
But here's what happens when a signal spreads. It becomes weak and weaker until it's undetectable. So they did not check an 85 million mile away fucking object with radar while traveling at 67,000 miles an hour. Ever. It will not bounce back to where you are at.
Okay, not with the same power. I agree. I think the transmitter was something like 20 kilowatts, something like that.
Yeah.
It was a quite a powerful transmitter. The signal they got back was measured in milliwatts. They got a millionth of the signal back.
And I'm calling bullshit. I'm sorry. That's too weak of a signal. That is too weak of a signal to distinguish from fucking natural background radiation. I'm sorry. If they had radar that could go that fucking distance, they would be able to detect ships from a fucking radar station in Alaska when something left out of a port in China just with fucking radar.
No,
there's no way they've got a signal that goes that far.
What's getting in the way between Alaska and China?
What's getting in the way? Well, right off the bat, even across the entire ocean. All right, let's just even go this way. In New York, can you use radar to detect a ship leaving out of Bristol, England?
No, because the Earth is in the way.
You know why? Because
the Earth's in the way.
No. Oh, what's in the way?
The Earth's in the way.
Well, no, the Earth's not in the way.
Okay.
Because if they had a transmitter like that, then what would happen? It would pick up everything and then just go out into space and then bounce back somehow magically from some celestial object and give them a reading that, oh my God, look, there must be something out there. That's ridiculous. Look, radar is light. Okay. Yes. It's just non-visible light. Light does not travel infinitum. It dissipates and gets weaker with distance. It succumbs to this to the inverse square law of light. Okay, and so as the distance increases, so does the brightness, because there's not enough of it, and it spreads too far and dissipates to where there's no more it's just not anymore.
Right. You're making a inverse square law is kind of a macro view of a large light body.
Yeah.
Compared to something like looking at individual photons. Does an individual photon lose energy traveling through a
don't
vacuum?
know if there's any such thing as an individual photon.
Okay,
I've been
but that is the
told
current
there's an
theory.
individual photon, but that's stupid. A little particle of light, a particle of light. What is powering this little particle of light?
It is energy.
Right.
Electromagnetic
So
energy.
it's subject to the same rule as all other energies.
Yeah, but I mean, what does a transmitter do then? Like,
A transmitter sends a signal.
Yeah, a signal of what?
A signal of light. Right.
Okay. So we would agree then that light travels?
No, I didn't agree that it travels. I don't think it travels at all. I think it's
what does a transmitter do?
I think it's just a propagation of energy by the light source. I think it's
a propagation. I agree, it's a propagation.
But I don't think it travels at anything. I don't think you could slow things down and see it go woo to a distant object or some shit like that. It's like instantaneous.
Instantaneous?
I mean, you do know that the speed of light is not an actual calculation, but a consensus come to by physics.
It's a measurement.
It's a measurement. It's based off of a consensus at a physics conference in 1929 in Bern, Switzerland. They just came to a consensus because it was all different readings that they came to. All these people came with different readings, and they came to a consensus. And so
what is the consensus?
The consensus was what they use right now.
No. Put in words the consensus. What is the consensus?
Well, they came to an agreement.
Yeah, agreement on what?
On the speed of light.
No.
Yes.
The consensus is that they cannot measure.
They came to an agreement.
I haven't even got the words out.
They came to an agreement on the speed of light based on the fact that there were several different measurements involved.
The consensus is that we cannot measure the one-way speed of light. So the consensus is that we assume that it travels the same speed in both directions. That is the consensus.
Well, there again, it's an assumption nonetheless. But no, the speed was an agreed upon speed based on several different results of calculations.
Measurements
so it kind of like an average is what they came up with.
Okay,
and it's not a constant, it's a variable.
But was it measured? Was it a measurement?
It's not a constant, it's a variable.
Well,
okay.
But let's say our measurements are a bit odd.
They treat it as a constant.
Yeah, but was it a measurement though? Was it measured?
No, it wasn't.
No.
It was a result of them agreeing on a number that fell in the range of the fucking answers that they got from their measurements, because everyone's measurement was different.
Okay, but those are measurements, right? So they measured the speed of light and they got slightly different answers.
That's how you measured the speed of light.
Okay.
I don't even know how the fuck you would even do such a thing.
Piezo experiment is good.
I mean, Christ, if you can dissipate light with a different mediums, of course, that's easy enough to do. But to prove that it has some kind of a speed, no, I don't. I'm not buying it. Look, it's just more of the pseudoscience crap that makes up this entire body of belief. It's all based on theoretical shit.
Do you know what the Piezo experiment is?
Go ahead, explain.
Okay, so this is all on Earth, right? He has a light source, like a torch or whatever, pointing in one direction, hitting a mirror a very long distance away, and bouncing back. And he's got this he's got a spinning wheel with lots of holes in it. Okay, so the wheel's spinning at a certain rate, and he knows the distance from the source to the mirror and back. By adjusting the spin wheel of the rate, he can get it such that the light goes through the hole in one direction and comes back through another hole in the other direction. All right, and doing some pretty clever mathematics, he can work out how fast that wheel needs to spin for the light to go back and forth in that particular time. And it's how he measured the speed of light. It's very clever.
Cool. Have you ever done it yourself?
I haven't done it, but I've seen it done a few times on YouTube. Yeah.
That's interesting.
Yeah,
anyway, it doesn't negate what we said.
That we can't measure the speed of light?
That I don't believe that light is actually traveling. Okay.
You use the
there
word
are a lot of variables within that experiment that could indicate other reasons for what he's got going on there.
Oh,
but nevertheless, it still doesn't prove what what we were talking about in the first place. You know,
which was Venus. Yeah.
Yeah, which was Venus. Okay, so there again, let's see, how fast does that mean that the Earth moves in a minute? So if we sit at let's see, 67,000 times 60, right? That's 4,200. And then we're going to divide that. What? How do we do that? 4,200. And it goes 4,000. Okay. And then we got to go times, what did we say? 6.5 minutes, 6.5 minutes. So the Earth would have moved 26,000 miles in that amount of time. And its only supposed diameter is 7,918 miles. That would be really far out of fucking place for to receive a signal that you sent.
Like we said,
how big is the collector?
Light bounces off in all directions.
Yeah, but it dissipates as it does that.
Yeah. So we sent kilowatts.
Hold on. Here's what you got. It doesn't come back from a pinpoint.
Right.
It does, because it spreads over that 85 million miles, right? Yeah. So you've got this radar beam that's spreading over an 85 million miles, and then bouncing back. That's still going to spread again over that. And what happens when you spread something out? If I give you
get less.
If I give you one little knife load of peanut butter and tell you to coat every side of a piece of bread, of a loaf of bread with that little bit of peanut butter, you can't do it. There's not enough peanut butter to do it, right? Why? Because the amount there is not enough to cover the amount needed. So what happens? It spreads thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner and thinner over the distance. So are you actually getting a signal back from this thing, or are you supposing? I don't think so.
Well,
I really don't.
Read the paper.
I don't know how you would even be able to detect something so fucking weak.
Yeah, because they pointed it at Venus, got a signal back.
Right. And you're now 26,000 miles out of fucking distance from where you sent the signal.
Right. Pointed it away from Venus. Didn't get a signal.
Oh, so that it would
back to Venus,
you're leading it. So you're leading Venus.
Oh, they probably did.
Now, now in order to lead the object, wouldn't you have to be able to know an approximate distance in order to lead that object? I do know that when I shoot skeet. I know that. I know the approximate distance of where that clay pigeon is at and how far ahead of it I need to shoot in order to hit it. I know that for a fact right there because I have known values, right? But if you're going to lead an object that's moving, you have to have some idea of how far away it is in order for your thing to work. How do you know that you didn't? How do you know you didn't underestimate it and it zoomed past where you shot it? You see,
that's trial and error. Or trial and error. They pointed it at Venus, got a return signal. Pointed it away, didn't get a return signal.
Mm-hmm.
So they were that was how they tested whether they were hitting Venus or not.
Yeah. You know what? I could do that same thing, right? I could just shoot willy-nilly in the fucking air. I could go and shoot toward the fucking clay pigeon, or I could just try shooting all over the place. But I know a known distance, right? Or even right. because I know the size of the thing. I know how far up in the air it appears to be. I know the trajectory and speed. I'm calculating this in an instance in my head, not necessarily with numbers, but just with feeling, right?
Yeah.
So I know
trial and error over many years. Yes.
Well, no, it's pretty simple. I mean, you don't really have to do it that many times. Now, that's just with a clay pigeon. We're talking about an object 85 million miles. Okay. That's a long fucking distance.
Actually,
isn't that what Venus is? 85, 83 million miles, something like that, right?
The distance this particular shot was 3.25 minutes, 3.25 light minutes.
Right. What's that? Whatever that works out to be.
58 million.
It's a ridiculous distance to be sending any kind of a signal whatsoever. It really is. It really is. It really is. Because let me tell you something. I used to work with high frequency AM NSB FSK band radios in the military, right? Directional linear antennas. They have a range. Okay. They don't just keep continuing on forever. We've actually, I once picked up Fort Hood, Texas from Frankfurt, Germany. They claimed it was a bounce off of the ionosphere, but when I drew it to scale and tried to work out the fucking bounce, there's no goddamn way it would have done that without ping-ponging back and forth from the ground to the sky till it got to its destination. Yeah. So that was a major impossibility. That was an anomaly. That signal kept cutting back and forth out, right? And now I'm talking about we were using some seriously high frequency transmitters. We had some that were even bigger than that, but the range was still limited. Now, the local TV station in Harrisonburg, WHF TV3, broadcasted signal to retrans towers. And just to hit the distant tower, it needs its own huge ass power source. Even a mobile van that goes out to broadcast needs a huge ass transmitter to reach back to the broadcast station to have it retrans to the towers that feed it off to everybody else. So I know that the signal strength is a combination of frequency and power, but is ultimately dependent upon the amount of power put into that signal.
Yeah, I'm just trying to read it. It was 12.6 kilowatts transmitter.
That's really not much. That's really not much. We used 15 kilowatt transmitters in a fucking microwave vans, man.
Yeah.
That's not much.
The power they got back is not measured in milliwatts. The power they got back minus 161 dBm. Yeah. How much is that? It's pretty small anyway.
So let's see, this second poll we had up says, are you convinced after this demonstration that there's curvature or convexity of Earth? 90% are saying no.
Of course they are. All I would like them to do is measure the angle to the horizon.
So
let's talk some chat for a minute, and then I'll go shopping.
Let's see what we got in here. Yeah. See, I got YouTube up on this screen over here, and then right here is where I got StreamYard at. So sometimes I have to look over here to see, because this over here, this StreamYard thing, I hate it, because I'll see somebody will put emojis in there, but it doesn't recognize them, and it says, pink waving hand. I'm like, what the hell is that shit? So what do we got? Let's see.
I'll try and answer some questions in the chat.
The Horizon Lucky says that the Horizon Lucky Haskins, welcome, brother. Let me see, where was he at? I just lost him. He said the horizon is flat, is apparent. Chicago Artist is in here too. Good to see you too, my friend Michelle, aka Naikas. Okay, is in here with us too. Let's see. He would say, okay, so Dave should ask what? Ask him that. What should I ask him? Wonder what an alien would think of Earth TV. Oh, dude, they probably, if there were aliens and going, outer space and all that bullshit, they probably lock their doors when they pass Earth, man.
I like
Shit.
that one.
I would. I mean, crazy. That's a bad neighborhood there. You don't want to go there, son.
I forgot to address Lisa. Lisa wrote something in the chat a while ago. She goes, wouldn't you have to look down at the horizon regardless if the Earth is round or flat? And I said yes, but that's wrong. What I meant was...
that's way back here.
Yeah, if the horizon is below eye level, which it measurably is, then regardless of the shape of the Earth, it should curve left to right. That's geometry. So regardless of shape, if it's below horizontal, it should curve left to right. So don't be scared about horizon curve.
Right. And also know what apparent horizon means. Okay. As Peter W. is pointing out right now, that the horizon is indeed optical. Because one of the crazy things, I wish I had it up accessible right now, but that one that shows all those mountains from that altitude, you should not even be able to see those mountains. They should be so far behind a curve, it wasn't even funny. I'll have to dig that out for the next show. It showed, oh, fuck.
Is it infrared from Canigou looking across to the Alps?
I think so. Well, that's one of them. That's one of them. That's an interesting one.
We'll do the curve calc on those next time. That'd be good.
Let me see here. What else we got going on in here?
So Sean Alkey saying how many boosters? I can confirm that I'm GB jabbed up the wazoo.
Oh my God. No, you didn't. You fell for that shit?
This many.
Dude, you fell for that shit. Oh my God. Really? Hey, I got helmets for sale. The sky is falling. Would you like to buy one?
Sean Alkey, how is it possible to see Venus and Mercury at night on a globe? It's very difficult to see Mercury at night. Very occasionally, it's right on the horizon. Venus is pretty easy to see at night. Its maximum elongation is like 40-something degrees. You can easily see Venus at night. Mercury, harder, because it's closer, obviously.
So Lucky says he lives on the largest body of fresh water in this realm. It's flat level like all bodies of water. And that's really a good one too, because the fact that the waves aren't quite as high on the Great Lake. But the one he lives on, the Great Gitche Gumi, also known as Superior, that thing it can get some waves on it, boy, I'll tell you what. But because of that fact is the reason why Great Lakes liner ships are longer than a lot of your ocean going ships, and it's because of the fact that the waves aren't usually as high as they are in the ocean, and they don't have to run the risk of coming up between two waves and snapping in half, which is what speculated to have happened to the Edmund Fitzgerald. If you've ever heard about that shipwreck, I think it was in the early 70s. It was loaded down with iron ore. Gordon Lightfoot did a song about it. It's a pretty good song. Really good. Yeah, that's a great place to demonstrate the lack of curvature, because you don't have the disturbance of the huge waves, especially in a good calm day.
Yeah. So next time we'll do the from Canigou looking across to that all those mountains. That's one of my favorite globe proofsies, just for what's his name? Undoctrinated.
Unindoctrinated? Yeah.
Yes.
That's a good name. I like it.
Yeah. I use the word proofsies occasionally, but technically science doesn't prove things, and
aluminum hard hats, tinfoil for sale. Cool beans.
Yeah. I'm jibby jabby up the arsehole. So
he says, yes, it is in clear air. Lucky, I'll tell you what, man, I would love it up there if it would stay about this time of year all year long. But them goddamn winters up there in the Upper Peninsula of Michigan, there ain't no way, man. I hate the cold, man. And I moved to Virginia a long time ago, pretty much to escape the cold. Now, it still gets cold here, but not like it does up there. But now I'm ready to go even further away from it, because the cold here I don't even like. So I have a bad time with freezing cold shit. There's a globe and proof together.
Yeah.
I'm
I say
afraid
proofsies. Yeah.
Proofsies. I live between Lake Michigan and Lake Huron. It's a great thing that water finds its level. Yeah, you'd be fucked up, man. Have you underwater. Proofsies technically not a proof. Lucky Haskins says winters are nice and quiet, man. It's like having the whole trailer park to yourself. Hope you got that truck running good, Lucky. I think it would sound a little bit rough, but hell, you got it running. Let's see. Probably not going to be a next time, bud, when you're shooting all that poison in your body and your face. Yeah, we're not going to go there with that one.
Yeah. Code words.
Yeah. You got to be careful. These blue-haired communists at fucking Google, they get really upset about some things, and you just gotta. They're going to try to run that bullshit. They're going to try to run that bullshit on us again. Now, please tell me, Rufy, you are not going to fall for it this time. Please tell me you are not going to fall for it this time.
The GB jabs?
Huh? Yeah.
Yeah.
No.
Yeah. I have lung damage. I can't afford to get it. So
do you know why I didn't trust the science? You want to know why? Because it was so fucking unscientific. That's why. It was so unscientific. There was absolutely zero proof that this thing even existed. There was zero proof of it. Nobody ever saw it, visualized it, isolated it, nothing. It was just, we have this and everything. And then to concretely make you believe like it does, you got these bozo the clowns like Rand Paul and Dr. Fauci arguing about where the fucking origins of it came from. And I'm like, where the origins of what came from? What the fuck are you arguing about? It'd be like you me arguing about where does Bigfoot come from when nobody's ever actually established that Bigfoot exists. You know what I mean?
Okay. I would say that we've sequenced it multiple times across the world. Let me answer a couple of questions in the chat. Thrush list, how can radar return to Earth if we're not in the same spot? So we fire a reasonably powerful radar out. We get a very tiny fraction of it back. That's it.
Very, very minuscule, tiny, almost imperceptible. It would have, So, could have been a gnat. Could have been a gnat fart. Yeah.
They pointed it away, didn't get a signal. Pointed it towards, got a signal back. Daniel Becker, I have lung damage from leukemia actually in 2016.
Ooh, bummer. Sucks. Thank God you're not. I mean. That could end up a lot worse. I know, because there was leukemia is not anything to fuck around with, man.
Oh no, it was shit. So, yeah, it's coming back. I have where's my lung? I was around about 70% lung capacity in 2017, and now it's about 80%. So it's coming back very slowly. Keep my name out your mouth. Very good. Sean Elke, why is daylight longer in Australia June 21 than in Northern Hemisphere Dec 21? Is it? What?
Who said that one now?
He's talking about the solstice. Oh, sorry, the solstice in both places. Like by how much? If he wants to get technical on it, we can do the solstice.
Thing I found really interesting was this July 8th phenomenon. That's pretty fucking cool. It really is. And there again, we have to also understand, if people can understand, that daylight and sunlight are not the same thing. Although daylight is caused by the sun, daylight is not sunlight. Daylight is caused by a fluorescing of the gases in the atmosphere that glow and cause this is why you get daylight even when the sun is blocked out by the clouds. You can't even see the sun, but you're still experiencing the daylight because it's like being under a big fucking neon light. Basically,
it's scattering, not fluorescing. Fluorescing is a different.
No, it's fluorescing. That's why at high altitude you actually see a glow above the Earth, even though you're not into space, as so to speak. When you see high altitude balloon photographs and video, you see a glow above the Earth. That glow is that fluorescing of those gases. When you see in the darkness, there is no glowing of it whatsoever. It's
there's no
this is
scattering
another thing that bothers me about the lunar eclipse is because the solar eclipse rather, is that when the moon goes over is supposedly, and I'm not convinced it's the moon because I observed the solennal eclipse in California in 2017, and the moon was clearly visible, not even near the sun. So anyway, the thing is that it would seem that if the light from the sun can reflect the light off of the moon to a point where I can see newspaper headlines, you can navigate your way around outside with very little difficulty whatsoever. I would think that the highly reflective properties of the Earth, being 70% water on its surface, would reflect light back onto the moon instead of it appearing as a black disk or a black circle crossing the face of the sun. The fact that I actually saw the moon in a completely different spot, not near the sun, when the solennal eclipse happened, I was in Central Eastern California.
Yeah,
and it was amazing.
Solennal, they're opposite sides they're on both horizons.
Yeah. So what was going in front of the sun? I almost speculate like there's something like a polarizing effect. There's a video. I'm going to have to dig that out and look and show it one of these times, but where they've actually took a polarizing lens and turn it when you see the sun, turn it and it blocks out the sun, but something interesting happens. Like off behind, it looks like it's behind it and off to the side is another source of light, almost as if it's projected in, or whatever the other source of light is polarized to where you can't see it. It's really quite a
solennal eclipse. Solennal eclipse is a lunar eclipse, not a solar eclipse.
No, this was a partial solar eclipse. The moon was over my left shoulder, and the sun was being partially eclipsed. And the moon was nowhere near the fucking sun. Nowhere near.
A solennal eclipse cannot be a solar eclipse.
The sun was being blocked by a dark object being eclipsed,
solar eclipse,
while the moon was not near it. I could visibly see the moon to my left.
So a solar eclipse, not a solennal.
It was a solar eclipse with the moon visible, not in front of the sun. How do you explain that?
Yeah, false. Please show any evidence that you have of that.
I've actually witnessed it, and I'm going to have to recover it off my other computer, but I have photographs of that. I actually zoomed in on it, and it's really an interesting thing too. When I zoomed in on it, what I thought at first appeared as sundogs were not sundogs. And as I zoomed in on those and blew them up, I used a really high resolution camera. And when I zoomed in on those, they almost looked like there was something mechanical. They were like crescent shaped and almost looked like they were mechanical, like they had some kind of circuitry in them or something. It's really quite crazy, man. But I mean, that's real. Listen, this is what you have to understand. What you have to understand with me, Rufy, is this. If I have to lie to make a point, then I don't have a point. And I say that about anybody. And so therefore I don't engage in that practice. I get it. I get this all the time from the Twitter twats and everything. Right off the bat, they say, "Why are you lying about something that is demonstrably true?" Right? And the whole reason behind it, the whole reason behind it is because their whole existence and belief system is based on lies. So therefore they believe that everyone else is lying. I've caught them all the time lying to try to make their point, which indicates that they don't have a point. But I'm not going to lie to make a point. If I did not witness such a thing, I would have no reason to say it. Okay? I would have no reason to say it whatsoever. So I was always of the belief, flat or round. And mind you, this is still when I was still on the fence, kind of laughing at flat earthers, okay, when this occurred. So I would have no reason to do that. I was still on the fence, but I was amazed by the fact of that too. I was like, what in the fuck is going on with this? Why is that happening this way? That doesn't seem right. Another thing too is that I've noticed is the shadow comes in from the wrong fucking way. And that's another weird problem that goes on.
That's not a problem. I made a video on that.
Okay.
Where is it?
But I mean, when I'm working out those ratios, you can actually test the shadows of the sun versus shadows caused by the moon. You get the exact same shadows during a full moon as you do from the sun in the same locations. There's just
all right.
No, M-ball. It wasn't a hallucination, sweetheart. It was the fact that there were other people there that said, "Wow, that's really crazy." Because I was like, I thought it was the moon going across, and other people were like, "I did too."
Oh, I can't.
And they could see it. I mean, it's just like, and we were confused because I really at that time didn't know much about flat Earth or anything else about it. I hadn't really delved into it. I knew the moon landings were a bunch of shit. But I was still under this belief that that's actually the moon crossing in front of the sun. Now, sometimes it might, but there are other things I think that we don't see that are in the sky involved in this.
I'm going to do a quick diagram of the upside down shadow. Very quick. And then I've got to go shopping.
You got to go shopping?
Yeah. Been in here for like an hour and a half. All right. So let's do this quickly. Oops. So cool.
Art class.
Yeah, it's very, very quick. Blue. I want that to be blue. I want that to be yellow. And I want that to be gray. All right. So, light. Oh, shit. Bloody hell. I don't want to pick it up. There we go. Done. All right. So the moon.
I wish I had an old version of like AutoCAD 9, which was still like a DOS-based one. But that was, I think, to me, it was great because you could actually do this shit like that and make it go to a tangent, make it go to a center point, whatever the fuck, just with a click of a key. It was beautiful.
All right.
I did that for drafting for a number of years.
This is why the shadow comes from the top down. So obviously that's the sun. That's the sun. Oh,
the yellow one is the sun.
Yep, yellow's sun, blue is the earth, and gray is the moon.
Uh-huh.
All right, so the moon is orbiting around this direction. So we're looking down on the north pole of the earth.
Okay.
Right, looking down on the north pole. All right, so the moon is moving in that direction. It is going into the shadow of the earth.
Uh-huh.
So the shadow of the earth starts here. All right, wherever. That's where it starts going into shadow here. The observer is here, and he's watching the moon go into the shadow.
Uh-huh.
Okay. Now, if you imagine yourself on the
why
equator,
does the shadow come from the top of the moon?
This is what I'm explaining. Yeah, this is what I'm explaining.
It's going, the bottom of it's entering the shadow first, right? According to your diagram, that black line represents the starting of the shadow, right?
Let me draw the guy properly.
Okay. And your moon is going straight down into that line that's just below it, right? That angled line that you said was this part where the shadow of the earth starts, right? And so it's going to go down into that. That means that the bottom of it is entering the shadow before the top.
Look at the observer. See the observer here? He's on the equator somewhere. Right? Can you imagine, flip your head around to where he is looking at the moon?
Oh, that's right. You think people are antipodal to each other. I keep forgetting that.
Yeah, so the North Pole, this is the North Pole here. That's the North Pole.
It does.
So he's sideways, right? Mm-hmm. Can you imagine him looking at the moon from where he is?
Well, now it's coming up in his perspective. Now it's coming up from his. Yes, it is. It's coming up from his perspective. He's standing upside down now. So up is down and down is up.
Well, he's kind of sideways. He's kind of sideways on the globe, right?
Well, He's not. He's upside down. Okay, he's antipodal, and so it's going to be the opposite. So now he's going to see this traveling down. He's still going to see this side popping in first. This side is not going to change to be this top side. I mean,
he's going to see, because in this diagram he's upside down. All right, so imagine you're like that. He's going to see the top of the moon.
He's seeing the bottom of the moon.
No, from his perspective.
Well, yeah, now he's seeing it from the top. Now he's seeing it from the top. But that's not what we see. That's not what we're seeing happening.
Yes, it is.
No, it's not.
You asked about the top-down shadow.
I know what I asked about, and it doesn't occur like that, though.
Yes, it does.
And also another thing that I've noticed, too, is we don't see the rest of the fucking when you see the moon go in front of the thing, the sun.
Yeah,
we don't see the rest of the moon until it gets completely covered. That's pretty crazy.
Why would you say that?
Because we don't. We just see this partial disk start coming in into view, and then there it is.
What's your expectation?
The expectation would be to see the moon in its totality go across the sun.
Right, but you see a black disk. What are you expecting?
I'm expecting to see that black disk, or at least the moon, go past the sun once it leaves it.
You're right. Okay. I'm saying the black disk is the moon. What are you expecting different?
Okay, what happens to it after it traverses the sun? Where did it go?
Yeah, you can't see it again.
Why?
Because of the atmosphere.
Because of the atmosphere.
Yes.
You're shitting me.
When you see the
because
moon,
of the atmosphere, hold on. So we can see the moon every other time that it's out, but we can't see it because of the atmosphere.
Right. When you see a half moon, what does it look like?
Hold on. Wait. Why would the atmosphere suddenly thicken up because of an eclipse? Well, then where did the moon go once it went past the sun?
Okay. Outside of an eclipse, when you see a half moon during the day, what does it look like?
It looks like a half moon.
Right. So you can't see half the moon.
Right.
Right.
So
why can't you see half the moon?
Well, why can't you see the whole thing once it goes past? Are you shitting me? It's right there. The sun's right there. You should be seeing it lit up. You should be seeing it lit up. You should be seeing part of it lit up.
No.
What the hell are you talking about?
During just a normal day.
There's nothing there. It goes away.
During just a normal day, and you see a half moon, half the moon that you can't see.
Did we have a half moon cross the sun?
No. Don't worry about it.
We didn't have a half moon cross the sun, did we? We had the whole moon cross the sun, right?
Don't worry about the eclipse.
And this was being done during what? A new moon?
Yes, it's always a new moon. Yes.
New moon.
Right.
And all of a sudden, this thing just appears into view because it's going in front of the sun. Yeah.
So not during an
eclipse. You know that for 40 hours, for almost 40 hours during a new moon, the moon's not even detectable by anything. There's not any black disk going across the sky. There's no black spot that I see going across the sky in the path of the moon that's blocking out the stars. I never see that until it's about to start into its phase again.
Okay.
So why don't we ever see that? Why do we never see a black moon covering up the stars during a new moon?
Okay. During a normal day, not during an eclipse, and we see a half moon, what is blocking the half of the moon that we can't see?
Well, there's one of the big enigmas, because that indicates to me that the moon is somewhat translucent. It wouldn't disappear. Why would it disappear? Why would it disappear? Why would part of it hold on? No, not because of the atmosphere. Come on. Then
why do you think the sky's blue?
Because of the nitrogen gas that gets fluoresced.
It's not fluorescing. It's
yes,
scattering.
It is. Yes, it is. You can put positive electromagnetic charge to nitrogen. You get sky blue, baby. And this is why it glows above the surface of the earth. When you're at about 120,000 feet, you look and you see that there's a glow coming off of the fucking earth. That glow is that gases glowing, man. It's not because of
Okay.
What
It
the fuck
doesn't
do you
matter.
think that is? What do you think that
Doesn't-
is?
It doesn't matter what it is.
It
The
doesn't matter
atmosphere-
what it is. The fact that it's glowing doesn't matter what it
Okay.
is.
Is the atmosphere blue?
Depends on which way. No, it's
What?
not. No, it's not. No.
Is the
The
sky blue?
atmosphere is not blue. The atmosphere is a composition of several different gases, some of which containing nitrogen, neon, and other noble gases, some of which, when exposed to a positive electromagnetic field, will glow and fluoresce in a blue color like nitrogen. And then as you see it go further through the atmospheric opacity of the gases, you see little bands of neon that are being illuminated that you don't see straight through because they are too thin. So as the sun's setting, we get these beautiful reds and purples and yellows and shit because of that. It's not real difficult to understand.
Okay. I do have to go in a minute. Anyway, the sky is blue and the atmosphere is blue. It doesn't matter what causes
Okay.
it.
So if I go all the way up into the air, if I go in the air here and I grab me a jar of air, that's going to be blue inside there. What about if I go up to about 60,000 feet, if I was able to do such a thing and collect up a jar and seal it up of that atmosphere, and I put it in there, is that going to be blue? Stay blue? Of course not.
Okay. When you get,
Now, I'll tell you one thing it will do. If I take that jar and I fill it up with nitrogen gas and I expose it to a positive electromagnetic field, it will glow blue. I guarantee it.
ZX on last. Anyway, what was I going to say?
What'd you ask, Lucky? I'm sorry, I wasn't.
The high altitude balloon footage, right?
Uh-huh.
As you get higher, the view above you gets black.
Yeah, interesting, isn't it?
So the atmosphere is blue.
Do you know why? Do you know why? Because there's those gases that fluoresce are not that up there that high. That's why.
Right. I agree. So the atmosphere is blue. Okay, that is
So
what is blocking.
well,
blocking half
what's
the moon.
well? You want to answer me a question? Then, if the atmosphere is blue and what we see above that blue is black, and this is being filmed by a balloon, what the fuck is the balloon in? Space?
Less gas. Yeah, very little gas.
Gas does not include the gases that fluoresce.
Okay.
There it is. I mean, what's it in? It's got to be in a gas, otherwise it would be gone, right? It wouldn't be there.
Gas.
It wouldn't be there.
Gas.
Yeah, right. Is any of that include? What are those gases that are at that altitude?
That's probably getting towards the ionosphere. Yeah. You're up about 30, 40 Ks. Yeah. So there'll be some ionized particles.
So the denser gases that do fluoresce are below that, right?
There's a lot more atmosphere below that.
Right. Well, there's a lot. Yes, there is a lot more atmos below that. That's absolutely correct.
Right. And it's blue.
Absolutely. But there's still atmos.
Right. But
And
it blocks the moon.
The bottom line is that we see the atmos at the lower altitude glowing, right?
Okay. That blue stuff.
Do we not see a glow coming from this?
We see blue, and blue is blocking the moon that you can't see.
We see a glow. Okay. So
whatever. Yeah.
Now, as I've said before, I don't think that the moon, as we're told, is actually a solid ball flying around the earth in either model. I do not think that the moon is actually a physical object. I think that the moon is actually some kind of a transparent or translucent projection.
Why?
Why? Because it behaves like one. It certainly doesn't reflect light. If it's reflecting the light from the sun, it certainly does not reflect it in the manner of a sphere. Because a sphere...
We're going to have to go. This is fascinating anyway. I got to go. Thank you again.
Right, well, thanks for coming on, and we'll do it again, man. I usually put the link up, and we'll do it.
That'd be lovely. All right. Thank you.
All right. Take care.
See ya.
All right. So if you look out of what's Sean say? Says if you look up out of a plane window on a clear night, there are no stars. Sometimes it's really weird when you get to a certain altitude. It seems like you just don't see the amount of stars that you do. But I have seen video time lapse. There's a great one that compares what Google Earth will show you as opposed to what reality will show you concerning a northwest or north-south bound aircraft and what the stars actually do. And in this video, what Google Earth shows you happens is the stars ahead of you start to rise up and come up over top of you as you traverse in either the north or south direction. Whereas in reality, it doesn't show that at all. It merely shows them drift a slight amount from the east to the west. So that's all that ever showed. And it wasn't reflecting. So we know that Google Earth doesn't reflect reality. We know that often, especially with these diagrams, that they do not reflect reality. In fact, sometimes they're just damn right comical. I don't even know how to begin with that. I mean, these ones that they do to try to explain this eclipse bullshit is really quite telling, because that's not how light behaves at all. Never, ever, ever does light converge in on itself. It radiates from its source. And when an object blocks that radiation, it goes around it and it spreads that deviation until it's no longer relevant and the other light starts to fill in. That's all, because if something's too far away, it won't even cast a shadow. I mean, I have to wonder sometimes, a lot of these people, and I'm talking about these Twitter twats, if they've ever actually like been outside. Did they ever go outside and play when they were a kid? Did they ever fuck around and play with their shadow and, you know, see what they could do with it, see how tall they could make themselves look or anything else? Did nobody ever do that? My God. It just blows me away sometimes that it's like when I told this guy today on Twitter, I says, dude, you need to stop jacking off over math books and get outside and have some real life experience, man. Because I don't know what kind of nonsense you're coming up with there. I really don't. So anyway, that was interesting. Anybody convinced? I don't know, man. I mean, like I say, you can draw anything. That's what another guy showed me, some kind of crap that he drew on a thing on Twitter, and I was laughing my ass off. I was like, yeah, I know my grandson drew a purple cow flying with wings and it was flying. Does that mean they exist? You know? And he says, he's like, well, you know, you'd have to have proof. And I said, exactly. Right. So your little thing doesn't work in reality. Your little diagram showing a shadow narrowing down as it leaves something is retarded. I mean, it really is. I mean, you want to take the entire shadow? You want to go with what you're calling the umbra? Sure, that doesn't work out ratio wise either. And it won't. It never will. So Commercial Sound and Video says he's convinced that he thinks it's a globe. Well, yeah, I am too. So I guess I was thinking about Trouble in Tribune here the other day, and it was like, I was like, man, I hope his wife's doing all right and they're being able to keep that going, you know, with their with the show and whatnot. The day I had Dave Weiss on, he had to make a last minute change because of that incarceration and brought Austin Whitsitt on instead. And I thought that was pretty cool though, because I like Austin. I think he does a good job. Lucky he's laughing about my thing because jacking off over math books. I mean, that's what they do. They just, and I've watched them. These Twitter twats are funnier shit, man, because you say something like there is no demonstrative proof of a gas pressure system in a vacuum without containment. And they just lose their minds. I'll go look after like 5 minutes. There's 27 damn notifications. These people come out of there like out of the woodwork going like that. And I'm like, wow. So you do that. I get them riled up. And then I just sit back and wait. And I don't say nothing to them for a long time. And then when I go back and I look, they've stopped talking to me anymore. They're not responding to me anymore. They're all stroking each other's balls with math projects and shit, man. And it's like, my God, man. I bet you get all the chicks, don't you? Right? Yeah. See if some girl wants to come over and see your bug collection or something yet too. Wow, what a freakazoid bunch, man. Get over it. What's happening, Mr. John Thomas?
What's up, brother?
Pretty cool.
I figured it out, man.
You did?
Yeah, I figured out why they can't come to the realization, why they stick to their balls and all that.
Stick to their balls.
It's Nibiru, man. I had no idea that their religion is Nibiru.
So they're in great hopes of some alien planet coming into contact with us or something.
Zachariah Stinson has been used to turn the God of Moses into a reptilian Nibiru guy.
Yeah,
he's got his stories of Enki and of course Christ is the divine serpent.
You know,
I don't know if I froze up or what.
Yeah, it was me. It's on my end here.
I
started making sense, and so now my internet's going to start fucking up on me. This is how they do me every time, bud.
What do you want to bet? I can't stay very long, but I just wanted to say the reason they can't let go because they're Zachariah Stinson fans, and it requires asteroid belts and things blowing up and hitting and making the Earth into a ball. And see, without that, the whole thing unravels, and you're right back to having to hear Moses tell you what sin is.
Yep.
So that's what the blockade is.
Well, John, the whole thing is this too. You just even look at the origins of this shit, right? You go right back to it, and it's born right out of Kabbalah, right? And so we bring it on up to the 20th century with this bullshit, right? Jack Parsons, right? Jet Propulsion Laboratory, disciple of Aleister Crowley. I mean, this shit is all born right out of the devil. It really is. And it is the biggest lie perpetuated against humanity. And this is one of the reasons it pisses me off so bad that it's all this. People are confused. They confuse theoretical nonsense with actual scientific method. Okay? Theoretical nonsense, astro theories and shit like that. And it's just like, that is not science. It's just a bunch of people speculating on speculations. You know, well, if this were true, then this would be true too. But yeah, here's the problem though. If this was true, it's not. Okay? That's where you got to stop. And when I say these things are built off of assumptions, it's assumption of convexity, assumption of distances, assumption of orbits. I mean, all of this is nonsense. It has absolutely no proof. And as we know, that extraordinary claims require extraordinary evidence. Okay? Not anecdotal evidence. Okay? If I ask you to prove that a gas pressure system, including one with a gradient, can exist within a vacuum without containment, don't tell me to measure the pressure on fucking Mount Everest. That's called begging the question. And it's not proof of anything other than atmospheric pressure within an enclosed environment.
You're right, brother. That's how extraordinary these claims are. I mean, they don't want extraordinary proof. I mean, it'd be, to me, let's just say I said I'm so endowed, my dick goes down the street for a mile. I wasn't
Right.
flop it out. That's how culted up they are. Yep. They don't even want proof. Yeah, you heard him. Goes down the road for a mile. I mean, they have a reason why that they're doing this. They have a dishonest reason they don't want to tell us what is the true motivator to hanging on to that damn globe.
Yep. Well, a lot of it too, and when it comes down to there's a great many of them that they've held this belief so near and dear and shot their mouth off so loud and proud that now, even if they do realize it, they're not going to admit it because of their pride, their ego.
Yep.
You see, the inability to go, oh, I was wrong. Right? It comes right down to that, and it comes down to ego. But yeah, I agree with you that there is an actual evil agenda behind it, because
Yep.
it is it's like the main foundation block in their Jenga tower of lies. Because what I've noticed amongst the people that I talk to and myself is that once that Jenga card is pulled, once that tile's pulled out, it's like the entire Jenga tower of deceit just falls right down on the coffee table. It's all done. Game over. You know?
Yeah, it's spiritual gatekeeping, brother. They're not.
Yeah.
They do it. They self-censor, and I know they think they're going to get something. Be on the right side and on the wrong side.
Listen, I just go with what's right. I go with what's true, what I can prove. These people are all the time trying to see, they make claims and expect you to make a claim. See, they go, well, how far away is the sun? And how big is it? Fuck, I don't know. I never measured it. I ain't never been there. How would I even go about measuring it? How would I even do that? Let's go there one time. I mean, you're going to get a different measurement fucking every day. I guarantee you, because it's never in the same exact spot, the same time of day. You'd have to wait a year.
They don't care about measurements. I was on a panel last Friday with HMIFC of Steve.
Yeah.
And I didn't know he was a globe guy. And Illumitami was on there, and he was really pissing me off. He was telling people go die of cancer and everything else. And then he said he wasn't playing. And so I'm hollering at him when I hear him spewing his stuff. I didn't know I was insulting the host, you know.
Right.
And but I just mentioned that, man, we got robbed with this new Indian lunar module. Where was the big old nice pretty picture of Earth? You know what I mean? We didn't get to see nothing but like Atari games. And I pointed out that the Earth should look 3 times bigger than the moon has ever appeared.
Yeah.
Now, that old picture that we got is like little bitty old Earth in the background. And then the host says to me, well, I know their measurements sometimes, just because I can't tell you why it looks like that, but we know their measurements, you know what I mean, aren't always precise. So use their measurements when you want to, you know what I mean? But if the picture doesn't line up with reality, well, I guess their measurements are off then.
Well, yeah, I mean, that is ridiculous. I mean, if the moon looks the size that it does to us from the same distance, we're not changing distances just because we're at the other end of the fucking distance. We're not changing distances. And they say the Earth the moon is 2,160 miles in diameter, and the Earth is 7,918 miles in diameter, almost 8,000 miles, right? What the are you shitting me? It should be way huger in the sky from the moon than the moon is from the Earth. My God, that's just common sense.
Totally crystal clear with no atmosphere obscure. It should be more visible from the moon.
You can't claim fucking lensing. You can't claim atmosphere. You can't claim refraction. You know, other than you want to make another ridiculous claim or say that gravity pulled your eyesight away or some shit. I don't know.
It's just a dishonest attempt to, you know, get us under their thumb, man. It's all it is.
Well,
I told him, he asked me honestly, well, what's your proof? What's your best proof? And they interrupted me continuously when I was trying to do it. Started, you know, making hand signs. They were sucking dick. And one of the things I asked him, I said, have you ever seen any other side of the moon? He says, well, no, because the moon doesn't rotate. It kind of goes around the Earth perfectly facing the Earth. I said, no, sir, that's not what NASA claims. And they just wouldn't answer that. NASA says it rotates perfectly, but you just happen to never see it.
No,
they never show us a model of that because it doesn't make sense. I've never seen the NASA model to show me how the moon is rotating, but I've never seen any other side. They just say it.
Right. Well, it's I look at it like this, you know. If you ever had, I mean, if you see a rainbow, can you go over and get underneath of it and look at it from the underside? No. Because as soon as you start going toward it, it's going to change location on you, man. Right? Well, the same thing goes with that. We don't even have any proof that this is a big ball or anything else like that. All we know is we see this round thing that lights up in the sky. It appears to be a ball, but that can be deceiving as well. We don't know that for a fact. We see that light doesn't behave on it the way that it would a ball. I mean, like during a full moon, the entire fucking circumference of it is lit up from a distant light source. No, that never happens. It fades out. It fades out, man. So that's kind of crazy. I'll tell you one thing that does act that way with a reflection is something that's concave rather than convex. That absolutely will. That's why doctors used to wear this little concave fucking mirror on their head because it amplified the light that way.
Yeah, they're becoming more and more dishonest, brother.
Yep, all the time.
All the time, and it's not even that they're trying to protect what they feel is right. It's just I've got an agenda. I'm not going to tell you what it is because you know what I mean. My religious beliefs are riding on it, and that's what they're really hiding.
Oh, absolutely. It definitely is the attempt to hide the creator, hide the fact that there is a creator. It's designed to also keep you imprisoned, not only in your mind, but geographically as well. So it works on many facets. And it absolutely relies on the perception deception and the inundation of this nonsense information at a young age so that you believe it. And so that this is a fact. So these theories as to why these possibilities are occurring must be true. You see, because they've already seeded it in their mind as a kid that this shit is real. So now when any kind of an impossibility comes up, somebody of an authoritative figure or appeal to, you know, somebody who's an expert can feed them some bullshit, and based on the fact that they're perceived as an expert, they'll believe that that's a good explanation, because after all, that man is much smarter than I am.
Yeah, and they brought him on coast to coast.
You're still believing that this shit is all true. When you take it right down to its fundamental, that's where you got to go. And that's where Lucky Heskin and I really, really agree on that. Go right to the fundamentals. I don't give a shit what the stuff in the sky does. Show me the convexity of the earth. Absolutely, concretely prove that, which it hasn't been done, because you know what? If it had been, there would not be a discussion. There would be no argument. This would be an immutable fact that we know. But there is no proof of this. And by all appearances, we are on a level, stationary, topographical plane.
I agree. And for those of us that believe in the Mandela effect, the earth can be whatever he wants at any given minute. You know what I mean? It could be a ball. It could be a flat. It could, you know what I mean? I get attacked for saying that.
Well, I
like
don't,
you just said,
I don't know, but John, I don't know of any Mandela effects as of yet that have changed the fundamental principles and laws of physics. You know, like having water sticking to the outside. Now, I'm not saying that it ain't gonna happen or that this Mandela don't change something like that, but as of now, we still do not have any proof that water will stick to the outside of anything and adhere the shape of it. None whatsoever. And from all accounts, what we see, there's no measurable convexity to the Earth.
But that level of being of control, I mean, to change something that's already happened, I mean, that's
crazy stuff.
That's everything.
But I'll tell just a word of advice, John. That guy, the meth head, Luma Tommy, I would avoid him. He's not well. He's not well. He's clearly insane. And I think potentially dangerous on a physical level. I really do. I think he is completely unhinged, off the fucking charts.
Yeah. But I know it's, they done rolled around this Zachariah extension on coast to coast for years, Dave.
Yeah, I know. Coast to coast is it's gatekeeping shit, man.
Right, that was on purpose. So flat Earth does not align with what they taught us on George Norrie. Those two cannot go together. I just now have really, I mean, I've been putting some of this together, but I'm figuring it out. All of his books go in the trash as soon as flat Earth comes into play. Stinchen knew nothing. He just put some stuff in the books that he transcribed himself from clay tablets. But as soon as it's flat, all that stuff goes out the window. There was no Planet X that collided and created the Earth.
No, that's
the asteroid belts.
Hang on, I got something for that. This is funny as shit too. Because let me see, is that in here? I'm pretty sure it is. Because this thing, this is what they believe. See if I find it here. Okay, here it is. Let me bring this up real quick. We pause it. So this is what they say happened in the formation of Earth. I'm wondering where the fucking rocks came from to start with.
I asked Tommy that. He wouldn't answer that. Where did it all come from?
Right. So here's what they say. Just out of nowhere, there's for some reason rocks flying around in space. And no explanation as to why there are rocks flying around in a vacuum. No explanation for those little white dots you see out there. Why would those ever form in a vacuum? What the hell is going on? Where did any of that bullshit ever come from? So watch this. This is what you have to believe how the Earth formed if you are a glober, man. This is their explanation. See that rock crash into that rock? And then another rock. And for some reason, instead of bouncing away from each other, they stick together for some reason. Now, why in the fuck would they stick together? If I hit a rock with another rock, it's either going to break that other rock or both rocks are going to fly away from each other. So how in the fuck is this going on?
Especially in a weightless atmosphere.
Right. Now, what is this little convergence of red things? Is this going to be the moon?
That's the gas coming to the Earth.
Oh, look at there. And just sticking to it, not succumbing to the laws of equalization of pressurized gases. Nice.
Now, didn't I hear y'all talking about there's a leak in the we're depressurizing now?
That's what somebody was trying to float that by. They really were. They were trying to float by the idea that there's leaking of our atmosphere, which aptly brought up by several of my intelligent people in the chat and myself. Wouldn't the term of leaking suggest that there is containment?
And we just saw the model. Every day, the atmosphere should be getting bigger and bigger and bigger because we collect gas. We just seen how it works. Why would it be getting smaller?
Hey, and there's a lot of us that expel a lot of gas to add to that. So where's that going, right?
It doesn't make sense. It should be growing continuously. We should pick up gas every time we go around the sun that was floating out there.
Mm-hmm. Because of the gravity. Why aren't there any little particles of gas out there collecting up on the Earth and increasing the atmosphere?
It's leaking out. And I guess other planets are sucking our gas up.
It must be probably those gas giants that somehow through their magical telescope they can look at it and tell that it's made out of gas. You know, I guess somebody could tell how big one of my farts is from down the street with one of these magic telescopes, huh?
It's bad, man.
It's just, I can't believe people actually buy into that shit. How do they know it's a gas giant? Because we have a magic telescope that will tell us what things are made of. Really? Why don't you turn that shit back around at the earth and look for all the gold deposits and shit, right? Get out of here.
And it's not like, you know what I mean, that they're, at the end of the day, we shake hands. These people are vicious inside.
Oh, God, yes. That's why they get so fucking hateful.
No.
Now, I got to give that guy that was just here, Roofy, I got to give that guy credit. He's not really a turd, you know, and that's cool. I don't mind talking to him. But, I mean, when you get these guys within a 30 seconds, they're already 5 years old and telling you, your mom eats poop. You know, it's like, God damn, just go the fuck on, you know?
Like a Tommy.
Yeah. Well, he's just insane. I don't know what to say about him. He's got real issues.
Yeah.
What is this?
Well, brother, I got to run. I just wanted to say that. I think I'm on to it now.
Yeah, I mean, yeah, that's definitely the...
It's their coast-to-coast religion. We're destroying coast-to-coast. That's what it amounts to.
Well, yeah, that, and there was a couple other ones like that too that are out there, you know, that talk about some of this stuff. And, you know, I think another, like you've got some of these characters that come out like, you know, all of a sudden they're allowing whistleblowers to go all over the news and all other platforms and talk about stuff that the United States government is hiding from the people. And I'm supposed to believe that because sure, they don't bother snuffing out people that are whistleblowers and shit at all. That's why, you know, they always just commit suicide or something, you know, in a really bizarre manner. Like anybody that went to testify about Hillary Clinton or whistleblowers about Obama or anybody else like that, they always end up fucking dead, don't they? They ain't allowed to go on every goddamn talk show and shit and start telling everybody about it.
No. And the Mandela effect ought to tell you that if the media doesn't want something repeated, they're not covering it.
That's right. That's right. And one of the telltale things, John, is this, and it's with my whole thing about methinks the lady doth protest too much. The level of pushback that comes is what's so amazing. Because like I've pointed out before, if I made a claim that the Earth's sky was made of tartan plaid, right? How long do you think anybody would sit and argue with me about that? Not very long at all, if they would even bother, right? Because it's apparently not so, right?
They want extraordinary proof, like you said, for
Right.
extraordinary claims.
Right.
They're entitled to it, though, Dave. It's because they're all together.
Yeah. Well, they're going to be all together. Trust me, they will be all together. We both know that.
I appreciate your time, brother. I got to run. Y'all have a good
Absolutely,
weekend.
John. Thanks for coming on tonight, bro.
Sir.
All right. See you next time, man. All right. So I got this thing here too. This is kind of cool. We like to see video and shit sometimes, don't we? There we go. This is kind of cool. Let's see. Is my volume up? Yeah. Okay. There can be no gas pressure system without containment. What is stopping this rocket?
One thing I really want your generation to embrace is that the Earth is a closed system. We cannot leave the Earth. There's no place to go.
Ran out of gas. Hear how the sound changes? It's because of how thin the atmos is.
Rockets don't have brakes. It literally stopped. All of that angular momentum from the rotation of the rocket and the linear momentum from flying up just stopped. No, it had to hit something. What would it hit? If it hit a solid surface, the rocket would have been destroyed. And most likely the camera too, so we wouldn't have the footage. And obviously that's not the case.
It's a long fly ball going back. And the ball shatters the sky, bringing the ocean itself down into the stadium. Oh, Simpson just broke this dream's reality wide open.
I know we have still not shattered that highest and hardest glass ceiling, but someday someone will, and hopefully sooner than we might think right now.
So that's kind of cool. And it's almost like that guy said, all the momentum stopped. The vertical momentum, the twist, the turning of the rocket, it just stopped, but it didn't destroy the rocket. It just kind of like it went into, I don't know, like a thicker medium, you know, kind of like with that guy that took his, he had that submarine. And I think I showed it last week on the last show where he went down and found this lake underwater. And it was such a dense, like liquid that when he tried to penetrate it, he bounced off of it. And it actually sent ripples across the underwater lake. And
hey, Dave,
makes
how you
you
doing?
really wonder, what's up, Cage? What happened to your name, man? Where'd it go?
It's disappeared apparently. But what's your shirt say, bro?
My shirt says drug free. I ran out yesterday.
You always have the fucking shirts.
Yeah. Do you think you were sharing? Because I wasn't. What, you guys didn't see the rocket video? Wait a minute. That can't be, because my display showed that I was. Hold on just a moment here. We're going to make sure. Let me see what happens. I'm going to pull this back like this. Okay, that was sharing, right? And we all know that carrying, it's not showing yet. Hang on one second. I hit live. Okay, yeah, it showed. I don't know what you didn't see. Sean says he saw it. What the hell are you talking about, Sue?
What have you been looking into, Dave? Here.
What now?
What have you been looking into? I just saw you were live and I just hit the link.
Yeah. Okay, well, we were discussing what we've been trying to do here is there are people out there, Cage, that suffer from what I've termed as globitis. Okay. And maybe you or someone you know suffers from globitis, and it's a serious malady to which, well, you've probably run into these people.
I've heard of it. I've heard of it, Dave. I heard it's related to Green Gang or something.
Well, what it is actually these people
leprosy or something.
It's a form of insanity.
I thought it was like related to the leprosy disease or something.
No. It's actually a form of insanity, and it is. Okay, so you've probably seen these people. You've probably talked to them yourself. They actually believe that they came from a monkey and that they live on a ball of water that's zooming around through the cosmos or some vacuum or void at breakneck speeds, and that they don't feel it because some guy wrote down an equation.
So they're pretty much pawns of the dark occultists that run this reality.
Yeah, it would appear that way. And so what we're trying to do is break them free from this malady because it's really quite insidious. And yeah, it's purposeful. You can almost think of it as a biological attack because it's really affected people in an adverse way. It's stunted our technological growth. I think it stunted the intelligence level and ability to use critical thinking of a great many people.
And the program's so strong, you could literally go, you can fucking scream it in their face. You can spell it out in any fucking language. They're not gonna fucking understand unless they understand for themselves, which takes a lot to break that shit. It's very difficult.
Well, it is, and like I say, it's not their fault. It really isn't.
It isn't. You can't be mad at them, right?
Right, because it was done to them as children. No more than you can. It's no more than you can actually blame someone who suffered child abuse. You can't blame that person's current psychological condition on them. It's a result of what was done to them as a child, and unfortunately, within a period of time where there was hard wiring taking effect in the brain. And
so how come there's some people though that are resilient to it? Like they use it as like an alchemical, like the lead, to transmit into gold type thing. Like some people are resilient to it. They don't use that as an excuse, and they take care of fucking business, like being a fucking man and dealing with your shit. Come on.
Well, yeah, I mean it's well, basically, I think it's got to do with this. There's multiple levels of programming. One of those programming methods is the use of ridicule and scorn to lead you into a line of thought. Okay. This is done in school. Okay. This is where they learn this. This is where they teach this type of thing. Whereas that if you're say or think anything that goes against the current narrative, then you get scorn and ridicule by your quote unquote peers who are subject to this brainwashing. You understand? If you watch sheep in a herd, if one of the sheep will stray away from the herd, even without the sheepdog, the rest of the sheep will bleat at that sheep to get back into the fucking herd.
Yeah, because the shepherd instructed them.
So it's just it's kind of a tribal thing involved too. But you see, you're also programmed with this idea to perceive certain people as an authority on knowledge or information, right? Information is information. Knowledge is knowledge. It has nothing to do with the person that presents it to you. Okay. And it certainly has nothing to do with your perception of the person that presented it to you. Truth is only truth when it's discovered to be truth. Okay. And consensus does not mean truth. For instance, if I were somehow able to convince a majority of people that a brick of lead will float in the ocean, then that does not make it a reality at all. Even if I have a mathematical equation that says that it can, reality dictates that it will not. Right? So it doesn't matter what you've been told. It doesn't matter what you believe. It's only what is actually true.
Reality is not subjective; it's objective. But it's kind of but it is kind of mixed, because it appears to be curated to the individual in a way, the observer.
Right.
So that's why you have to have discernment, or you get caught into apophenia.
Into what? What was that word?
It's a term called apophenia.
Okay.
Apophenia is like when you connect dots that aren't really there.
Okay. Yeah. Sometimes people do that. A lot of times they do that then that's a lot of the globe earth. That's why I say anecdotal evidence is not proof.
Yeah.
You see, they operate along these lines as well, right? I believe that this Earth is a planet and has gravity. Therefore, all things that I think are planets have gravity. And there's all kinds of fucking assumptions right there. It's almost as bad as, crows are black birds. Therefore, all black birds must be crows.
It's like it's like the nail to the hammer,
Right. Michelle,
everything's a fucking nail if you're a hammer.
Michelle said that's a new word for her. Spell that. Do you know how to spell it? Can you spell it out in the chat? I'll put it up on the screen, and that can be everybody's vocabulary word for the week. So we got Martino Berto. I've got a few more people have come into the chat. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to neglect that. I was engaged heavy in conversation.
Yeah, much love. Good to see everyone in the chat. I don't really know any of your viewers here.
Okay,
I like staying anonymous. That's why I have no name,
Right. So let's see. Daniel Becker's joined us. Martino Berto, Michelle, aka Nayikas. I don't know how to pronounce it. You're gonna have to come up here, Michelle, and teach me how to pronounce that, sweetheart. Renee Bernays. Let's see. Angela Baby Carson's up in here. Sean Alkey. Everybody piling in here now. ZXL Master, Barbara, my sweetheart, Jehovah's daughter, Barbara. Let's see.
You got a bunch of viewers in there.
Yeah, I do. It shows I've got 63 viewing right now. That's not bad.
That's pretty good, huh?
I'm pleased with that. Yeah, we've been doing a lot of stuff here lately, and it's been a lot of fun. Let's see. What's Lucky says? If you believe the globe, you believe that good guys brought you science. Therefore, you will take the jab. Yeah. Well, some of the people said, why don't you trust the science? I says, well, primarily it's because of how unscientific it is, and they just look at me funny and I just go on my way. I'm only responsible for what I say. I'm not responsible for what you don't understand. And that's just, Lucky says all the cool cats are here. They are too. They really are too.
It's electromagnetic based, Everything is it's all mental programming subconsciously.
Yeah, hit that like button too, everybody. We got 60 some odd people in here and 39 likes. We need to click that thumbs up a little bit, get Dave boosted up in the algorithm a little bit. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, the way like for business and stuff, I don't really have social media, like as an individual, only for business. And sometimes I go and talk to people that are looking for certain knowledge in that. But there's a way you can't go and try working with the algorithm. The algorithm hates you technically. What you have to do is you have to exploit the algorithm, which you can do in certain ways, right? You can fucking feed it. You can make what I do, for example, is like I use Instagram. You can easily like funnel a shitload of new people from Instagram easily. You just go into big podcasts, you follow the people on there, unfollow. You can even run a script or a bot to do it for you. And you can target your niche for example, I'm in the cannabis industry. I target all Canadians, and less than a year, I have like 10,000 completely real people, and they convert like crazy, with the conversion rate. You can easily manipulate. You have to you have to look at the algorithm and be like, yeah, they're trying to block me. All right, let's see an exploit. And we're going to use that to our advantage. In a way,
Blunticus, that's a cool name. I like that. Blunticus says here the science usually makes those that promoted a ton of money. I'm sure it is just a coincidence. Yes, and I want to add to that the results of science will always be whatever who's paying the people to do it want. So that's just
it's like this, Dave. In a way, it's like it's somebody like imagine I give you a riddle or a puzzle or something, but there's really there's no way to logically solve it or any. So like I'm putting it down rabbit holes. So some people, it's kind of like the algorithm, even with social media. It's like it kind of reflects to the algorithm of life in a way. So yeah, eventually you could just fucking brute force this shit. Brute forcing, like in hacking, right? You could just run every combination until you hit it.
Yep, look here. Lucky says it right, man. He says if it's not demonstrable, it's agenda-based for sure. Saab says he has too many mods. He says it causes problems when too many times people out and block. He's had this problem for a while. Yeah, I don't want nobody blocking anybody. The only thing blocking them or timing them out time them out if they're spamming shit. The only time you're gonna block them is if they're, you know, right out there cussing out about, you know, racial shit, or, you know, talking about offing people and shit like that. So that's all we got.
It's censorship free unless you're being a complete fucking
Right.
idiot,
If you're being a
you know?
douchebag, or if you just hit me on the wrong day and piss me off, I might, but you know, that's far and few between. Do you guys understand how the inverse square law of light works? Have you ever seen this?
Yeah, the inverse square law also affects magnetic fields too.
Right, exactly. Well, light, it's energy, that same energy propagation. I believe that the light is actually electromagnetic, but I've got a good video.
Everything is electromagnetic.
Yeah, everything's electric. I was telling my friend's little boy that the other day. She was over here and she brought her two boys over. They're just little, I think, with under third grade, at least the oldest. But anyway, they come over here. They like to play the dog and play with the dog, and while their moms visit and whatnot. And they were in here and waiting to go home, and we started talking. And I was telling them that, I said, because I have this globe, right, that by using the equilibrium of the magnetics, it floats, it hovers in the air between these 2 points. It just hovers. And they thought that was the neatest thing. And we got to talking about how it does that. And I says, well, it's using magnets. And I says, one of the things, I said, did you know that magic and magnet come from the same word? I says, because they don't really understand why it works. It just does. And I says, and wherever you find magnetism, you find electricity. Okay?
Yeah, there's magnetic induction.
Right. So I have an induction burner that I use.
Like a Bunsen burner?
Yeah. It's just a round surface. You turn it on, and when you put the pan in there, it's the electromagnetic frequency that causes the pan to heat up. It's crazy. I can put a piece of newspaper between the pan and the quote unquote burner, and it won't burn the fucking paper. It doesn't even darken it. It just goes through right into the frying pan.
Convection, and what's the other one? Convection and induction.
Induction, yeah.
Induction, right?
Yeah, it's really cool, man. I thought it was neat, and it's really kind of efficient, and it's also I got it because of why the way
I thought it's done through air.
What is it?
Yeah, I thought it was done through like air, like heating up air or something.
That's like how the air fryer and shit works. This thing's just a burner. It's like a burner, but it doesn't get hot. So its reaction with the pan you put on it is what gets hot. That's what heats up the skillet. There's no heating elements in this thing whatsoever.
Yeah, so that seems like an electromagnetic force to me.
Yeah,
right?
Yeah, they're really cool. I don't know if you can still buy them. I would imagine you still can. I had two, but
I think I remember a long time ago. I think a long time ago. I think you mentioned that a long time ago. I don't know. Sounds familiar.
I'll have to get it up, maybe video a demonstration of it. That would be pretty cool, because it really shows a lot. And that's another thing that I think about too with the sun, because it's this phenomena we run across, to where when we get at higher altitudes, like in the Sierras, and it's cool, which of course we're closer to the sun, and the air is really not that much thinner, and where you park to go to the portal up to Mount Whitney, but the temperature sure is cooler, right? And there's snow up on the top of the mountain, same sun, same distance away, shining right down there. There's that snow up on the top of the mountain. And then toward the east, and I go into Death Valley to Badwater. It's about an hour and a half away from there. I go there, and the temperature is like 115 degrees Fahrenheit. Same day, same everything. But it's the lowest point below sea level, and it's the hottest place on Earth.
Well, just look at the fucking names. I'm like, yeah, I'm gonna go to
Well,
Badwater and
the
fucking Death
distance.
Valley to
I
feel
think it
good.
has something to do with the electromagnetics working with the negative.
Your internet's freezing. You're frozen, bro. Look, we're fucking with the electromagnetic field. Now we have you frozen.
Yeah, I'm back though. I'm back. Hang on.
Now you're back.
I'm back.
We froze you. I'm telling you, you fuck
Should
up
be back.
electronics. When you get deep into it, Dave, you fuck up electronics, bro. They'll start freezing and everything. This is normal. He's still freezing a bit, bro. Look, it's happening. It's happening again.
Listen, I know that's what they do. That's what they do. This is what they do. This is exactly what the fuck they do. And they can't, because
Like, again, the fuck.
these motherfuckers are really dicking with me hard.
Yeah,
Really dicking with me.
They're messing with you, but they're trolling you. See? Trolling, freeze again. They're gonna kick you off your own fucking stream, bro.
Fix this. We're gonna fix this shit. We'll just put a little kibosh on their bullshit here. Hang tight. All right. So what do we do here? We'll just go to here.
Fuck their bullshit. Fuck the Matrix.
Motherfuckers, man.
Bro, they're relentless. I'm telling you. Don't play into it. They're gonna do it more now.
Yeah.
Like, oh, we got them. See again. As soon as I said we got them, they did it. It's just a fucking connection. You don't have to play into it. It's just a connection, bro. You're fine. You're completely frozen now, by the way. I don't know if you can hear me. Freeze, motherfucker! Call me Jack Frost and shit. Maybe I should change my name to Jack Frost. I told you they'd kick him off his own fucking broadcast, you know? Jack Frost, bro.
There, I should be back.
We're back. They froze you. Sub-Zero.
God damn, man. I'm back, ain't I?
You're back.
Holy Jesus Christ. This
That's
fucking
funny, though.
internet bullshit.
You know, they're trying
I'm
to
getting
fuck
about
with
fucking
you.
sick of this.
They're trying to fuck with you mentally. It's very.
Am I back?
Perfect.
Can you all see me? Everything
okay?
okay?
You're back. We hear you. You're completely clear. You're fine.
All right, good. Jesus Christ.
But they're trying to fuck with you. That's
I know. So as I've been trying to say for the last 5 goddamn minutes now, since they've been fucking with me, I think that temperature distance is due to the fact that it's the distance from the sun to the earth is the heat we feel is actually a reaction between the negative earth and the positive sun. And that distance is what's creating the heat. I think that's it. It's the heat is actually an electromagnetic function rather than actual fire or heat from the sun. I think it increases. That's one of the reasons it increases when you go down to that, like Badwater. That place is hot. I don't know if you've ever been there or not, but man, oh man, it stays hot. You can wear shorts year round. Crazy. So Major Sop. Ground control to Major Sop. The XL Master says, yeah, the dark matter and the dark energy had me. Only the dark energy are the globe tards that freak out because we talk about the shit that we do on this show. That's what it actually is. They do. They panic at this shit because like I've said before, I never have a problem All day long, I could sit here watching videos, playing a video game, doing some other fucking bullshit, processing a video. Never do I have any cutout in the internet. I start talking about this shit, bingo, here it comes. So what I'm going to have to do is start playing round robin with my VPN. It looks like.
Personally think there's like I think there's like bots or whatever. And yeah, if there's certain trigger words, instead of completely deleting you and blocking you, because there's, they'll fuck with it. They'll fuck with it on purpose. I think it's some sort of fucking AI shit that's being used. Some bot.
Yeah, well, here's what I look at.
I keep noticing that happening.
Yeah, I mean, and here's the logic behind it, and this is why I say methinks the lady doth protest too much. If what I'm saying is bullshit, there would be no need to combat it whatsoever, especially through, like making sock accounts and this, that, and the other, disturbing the stream or reporting the video or some other shit like that. Like I said, how long would somebody fucking argue with me if I said that the sky was made out of tartan plaid? No time at all, if anybody would argue it at all. So don't understand what all the fuss is about. Not for a minute. Not for a minute. NASA is live right now showing splashdown. Really? Let's see if we can find it. Let's see if we can find that shit.
You don't watch that?
Are they live here on YouTube? On YouTube. I got to keep that one open. Joel Medical. This is that thing. Let's see. What are we? NASA live. Let's see. I can just put that in. Oops.
Yeah, Satanist, a Jew, and an atheist walk into a bar. What do they make? They make fucking NASA.
Yeah. NASA takes it. I guess this is it here live. We can kind of keep this over in the background, maybe. Oh, blackout period. Hang on.
It's all fucking projection.
Come on. You guys see it okay? Yep.
No, it's buffering.
Buffering, of course it is. Now I've got that thing again. Now I've got
their entry in the beginning of the blackout period. We were still tracking an on-time splash. Again, for those following along, that's 12:17 a.m. Eastern Time, 9:17 p.m. Pacific Time.
Now watch, when this thing comes down, they'll all stand up and cheer.
No, because these guys love. You see those two fucking timestamps? Go search that up. Search what search that up on Google.
Atmospheric entry phase of the
12 something. I guarantee it's gonna have some weird connection to scripture if you look
Once
at
again,
it.
the plasma buildup on the exterior of the capsule results in
they love fucking hiding
our
shit.
inability to command or
well, here's what you got to
Dragon
take into
during this
account,
time.
right? We don't care what they're saying. We got closed caption up. So here's what's so crazy about it. You see these people? You know what they're seeing, right? They're looking at computer screens. Now they have practiced for hours upon hours using simulation on those computers.
I could deep fake this shit. I
know?
can make how do you know this is even real? This could be
right.
Could be
so
generated.
How would they know, even if what they're seeing, how would they know whether it was really a simulation or the real deal on their computer screen? They wouldn't. Because
people, how do you know
same
these
type
people
of
are
data.
fucking real? You could fucking you can easily create this shit and make all these people say whatever you want.
Well, my point being this, you don't even have to do that. They're indoctrinated, right? So what they're seeing is a computer screen with data, right? The same data that was being fed to their computer screen while they practiced with the simulation. So how do they know that the data that they're getting right now is actually data from the spaceship and not a simulation as they had gotten before? They wouldn't. Yet they're also indoctrinated. They'll all stand up, hug each other, high five, cheer. Half of them will cry. Just to give you the emotional.
Flare imagery.
Yeah. I don't know what the fuck he's got here. I see a little dot going along.
That's flare. It's like a flare camera. It's like a weapon camera. Like it locks onto it.
Yeah. Okay, so now here's a red thing. Here comes a red thing, everybody. Look out. Let's look at it through this thing. So now
what the fuck is this proving to you? This is fucking retarded.
I don't know, but there's a lot of technographical stuff on that screen right now, Cage. Oh, wait. Here it is. Here's a streak of fire. Now, I can only imagine. Now, this thing's going like...
Hey, Dave, you know, I've seen some real shit up close with multiple witnesses. I could bring them on here. My brother and a friend we've had since for decades.
Now, think about this. This thing's going a phenomenal rate of speed.
I've seen some shit up close, though. There's some weird shit going on. Sorry to interrupt. Yeah, there's nothing going on. It's fucking bullshit, man. You CGI all this. What is that purple shit? What are you looking at?
So as this thing's coming in at a phenomenal speed, as we see, what is slowing it up?
What's that purple thing that they're just showing?
What are they going to have slow? What is supposed to slow this thing down? This thing came into the atmosphere doing about 17,000 miles an hour. And I'm supposed to believe that they're going to deploy a fucking parachute.
Bro, look, what kind of graphics are these? Look at this software. This looks like you gave like a retarded kindergarten child. Like a
well, I just want to know what kind of
you made them. Oh, this is where we're going off.
I want to know what kind of parachute you could deploy going that fast that wouldn't rip to shreds or yank the cables apart or rip the top off of the object that has the goddamn parachutes hooked to it.
It's just fucking. They're assaulting your senses. That's all it is.
Of course. So here we go. Oh, look at those spacesuits. Those look really nice.
The fuck is that? They're wearing these weird boots and shit.
Yeah, those are the kind of boots that they wear down here at the chicken processing plant.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. That's where you go. Like, you know, you're in the fucking goddamn butcher shop with a bunch of fucking.
Or one of those
the slaughterhouse fucking boots, yeah.
Cleaning up a flood or some shit.
Wearing a fucking hazmat
suit. How is this thing slowing up? How does this thing end up slowing up? It was doing about 17,000 miles an hour when it came into the atmosphere. There's nothing for it to slow it up.
Look how they're calling the Dragon, the SpaceX, the Dragon, of course. Yeah. They love it. Look at Apollo. If you look into Apollo, it's all related to the Falcon. It's always related to this bird or like a dragon or something. You know, like Falcon X, isn't that?
Oh, the Falcon Heavy.
Yeah, Falcon or whatever.
Yeah, it's Falcon Heavy, man.
It's a bunch of bullshit.
It's really Falcon Heavy.
It's fucking stupid.
There's supposed to be dudes in space right now. I didn't know. Yeah, I guess they always got people up in space, man. Or, does it really matter? I mean, most people are looking at their phone any goddamn way. Yeah, they're saying there's dudes inside there. Here, yeah, I know. The friction of the air slows it down. From 17,000 miles an hour to a comfortable speed, the atmosphere is thick enough to slow it down that much in a free fall. It started out 17,000 miles. How would the thickness of that atmosphere slow it up to?
This is a fucking trap, though, Dave,
right?
If you think about it.
So then they go and they hit these parachutes, and the parachutes don't rip the fucking thing apart or tear or come loose or nothing else, or the cables don't snap. I call bullshit, man. In fact, plus I've seen them do it by pushing the fucking thing out the back of an airplane in film clips that you're not supposed to see.
Yeah, Dave. In a way, though, like you see all these fucking narratives and all. Yeah, just because we reject them and we're not going to fall for it and all that. But the fact that it's in our mentality, it's in our psyche, it's in our, it has an effect on our reality because it's all through the subconscious mind creating this outward projection that we call reality, through electromagnetically. So it's like, even if we reject it, it is still affecting us. It's
Here we go. We're going with the airs of parachutes deploying.
You know,
there is no way that thing is going as fast as they said it was, or any other such nonsense. I can guarantee you that. There ain't enough thickness in the atmosphere to slow that goddamn thing down to accept that.
looks like a sigil. What kind of sigil thing do they have written on that? Whatever the fuck that thing is at the bottom.
I don't see what you're talking about.
At the bottom of it, look, you see the shape of it? It looks like a sigil.
Oh, some kind of an outline in there? I don't know what that's.
Yeah, they're doing sigil magic. These guys are fucking weird, I'm telling you. They're dark occultists. But
what in the world?
I don't even know what the fuck.
There we go. There we go. Now we got another parachute that we're going to deploy. See, here's another big problem with this cage. At the altitude at which they deployed that very first set,
none of this makes sense. It's retarded.
Those chutes would not deploy as the air is still too thick. What the fuck is that?
They're not even in space right now either.
No, they're not. It's coming back. This is the landing back on Earth.
Apparently, they're quote unquote in space.
But what happened to their rocket that lands on its ass end?
Remember the Simpsons? The Simpsons even made fun of it. Remember the Simpsons movie back in the early 2000s? Remember it was all about the firmament, and they had the whole over the shit. It is kind of like that in a way. Not really though. I personally believe there is no shape or any of that. It's all generated through belief systems.
So I'm supposed to believe they went from 17,000 miles an hour to 120 miles an hour.
That's what I say. I think it's all created through belief systems, subconscious programming. You know, to generate this reality. You get enough people believing in something, it's gonna. Now it's it's materializing.
That's a good question, Axis. Or who said that? Who asked that? Who was filming this? Blunticus. Yeah, who or what is filming this? I don't know, man. They got somebody on it though, definitely, and in multiple different directions and shit too. I noticed because there was some cuts there that suggest multiple cameras.
Bro, it's like you gave a fucking child some sort of editing software and they created this. This is so fake. It's not even well done. What the fuck? You have to hire someone.
What's causing the heat on those parachutes to be able to see them with infrared?
Body heat. What is that though? He's in like a little. Look at that. It looks like a rune or like a sigil.
Looks like a screensaver.
They're fucking around, bro. They're doing magic.
Not very well though.
Terribly. Fucking low level retards, bro.
Drone, you got a drone go 17,000 miles an hour? Come on. What? No color? Why is it black and white? Because they're showing it with, I guess, what, infrared? They're showing this with infrared. There's apparently no clouds or anything. Okay, there we go. Wow, okay, so there it is. They're landed back on Earth, I guess. I don't know. Cruise 6.
Now they're looking like fingerprints or something.
Dragon Endeavor. Oh, I gotta say that.
Oh my god, these guys are fucking.
It's just insane.
They're characters. They're real characters. I'll tell you that.
Oh god, here we're gonna.
What's that purple beam shit? What is it?
Searchlight or something? I don't know what they're doing with that. Oh, it's supposed to be a laser or something, I think.
Is that their direct energy weapon? They touch it on Maui and shit.
It's probably just to make people go, ooh, science. Ooh. Sit there and cream in their pants. Sitting there jacking off the Carl Sagan posters and shit. I don't know.
That's insanity, bro. Like, what the fuck? We're living in a real clown world for real, though.
It is, and that's why I appeal to you all. If you know anyone that suffers from globitis, this insanity that we speak of, I urge you heavily to get them help. Bring them into reality, because
we'll give them a pill, right? We'll give them a pill, and we'll give them a pill to heal them and shit.
Well, I mean, this is not any time right now with the way things are going around in the world and shit for people to be in a delusion. We need everybody on their toes, okay? Playtime's over. Little kid shit's over. No Martians are coming from you. There was no lizard alien that jacked
Wake
off
the fuck up and get, bro. This shit is, it's really, you know what? I really don't have any sympathy for people, because it's like, if you're that fucking dumb, you're doing it to yourself at the end of the day.
Lucky's got a great point right there. That's what I'm saying. Flying the space shuttle in 80s, but dropping in water again like the Apollo missions. Yes, excellent. But I mean,
but it goes back to the accountability thing, right, Dave? Sort of interrupt, but it's like, yeah, you can't be blaming other people for your circumstances and shit. Like, that's the easy way out. That's, not having accountability for what you're creating in this reality. That's what they want.
Well,
right?
People don't have to have any accountability. I can't believe, like, some of these Twitter twats that I run across.
I have to have accountability, and people do. They'll be held accountable eventually, one way or another. So you might as well hold yourself accountable before any of that bullshit.
It's like these Twitter twats, okay? These Twitter twats. They were having a discussion on here today about, I guess, Elon's thinking about taking away the block function from Twitter, or X, or whatever it is now. And these people were like, oh, I can't believe that he's even considering such a thing. I said, why do you rely on it so heavily? Aren't you able to just ignore someone? Are you so fucking immature that you decide that, by blocking them, that means that you don't want to talk to them anymore? So if you see a notification come up from them, you can always have the option of not reading it, or even reading it and not responding to it. Right?
Well, yeah, because the social engineers who created these apps, they're very powerful. Because the greatest asset right now is
that's not really my point. My point being, why do you have to rely on that rather than rely on yourself? Everybody's always,
because they're fucking programmed like goddamn drones. It's social engineering.
They absolutely are.
It's dopamine,
so this is where we get
feedback.
This is why you get the Karens. Okay, this is why you get the Karens. I've got a particularly irritating little German Karen in Twitter that's all I say. I don't care what she says anymore. I just say, okay, German Karen. That's all I respond with. And finally, she just went the fuck away. I didn't have to block her or any other such thing. I didn't have to go and say, I'm reporting you. That's like the little kid that went to the teacher crying because somebody called him a name. It's like, look, toughen up, cream puff. Get a fucking life.
Because it's all energy harvesting on different levels, right? If there's somebody, for example, online, let's say this, like they even done it to me before, but they only did it once and they fucked off, right? I was having a stream, and they porn bombed it. But guess what? I ignored it.
We lost one, Cage. We lost one.
I didn't tell you. I didn't play into it, and then leave you alone. They get bored.
I think we lost two. Okay, we've lost Lucky Haskins and unindoctrinated merely by showing that splashdown. Now they went back to the globe because of that extraordinary proof.
It's always an economy. Like, fuck a globe, fuck a flat earth, any of this shit. It's all bullshit regardless. It's fucking electromagnetic. You create the reality around you. It's a universe.
I'll tell you one thing you're never going to create, and I don't give a fuck how many people you try to have manifest it. You certainly are not going to break the laws of physics. You certainly are not going to have a gas pressure system next to a vacuum without containment. You are certainly not going to have water adhere to the outside of something and assume its shape. These are physical impossibilities. I don't give a shit how much you manifest it. You might as well manifest a fucking unicorn horn out of your ass, because it's not going to happen. You know, this, whether or not we are co-creators in this realm, it is still subject to rules.
Yeah,
It is
there's an
still subject
algorithm.
to
There's an
rules.
algorithm to it, if you want to call it that.
Well, call it whatever you want. There's still rules, and those things
Yeah, of course.
those things that I just listed are impossible scientifically and cannot be proven. Okay.
Well, like for example, like one of the first science where science came from was like hermetic principles, right?
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, you could never break the law or the algorithm or the structure of reality, but you
Right.
can use one law against the other, and it will seem to outsiders and people who don't know that it seems like you're defying or breaking the law. You're not really doing that. You're just using a different principle to get in harmony with another one and having a specific outcome, which is
Right.
different from the norm. Yeah,
Right.
there's no breaking it though, but there is. You can manipulate it.
So
That's
we
what these people are doing.
we know that there wasn't some fucking alien lizard jacked off in a swamp and then some retarded fish formed out of that and then rolled up on shore and decided to have mate with a squirrel or some other kind of crap like that, and then we became monkeys, and then here we are. I don't give a shit how much time passes. You are never, ever, ever going to see trans species migration. And what I mean by that, a bird is never going to turn into any other thing but a bird. It's not going to turn into anything. It is a bird, and they will remain to be birds, just like we are men, and we will remain to be men. Okay. Fish are fish and will remain to be fish. Now, do we have different types of fish? Of course. And do we have different types of birds? Absolutely. But never once is a crow going to evolve into a sparrow. Okay. Or will a sparrow evolve into an eagle? None of these things are ever going to happen within a species, much less between species. That is the most ridiculous thing in the world. So then we're left with these experts that tell us that they can tell how old something is merely by testing the amount of a theoretical carbon in the fucking structure of the fossil they find, right? So we did an episode on that showed what a ridiculous pseudoscience carbon-14 radiocarbon-14 dating actually is. So then they also appeal to where they find these things. And this is what they'll tell you. They'll tell you they know the age of something because of the layer that they find it in. Okay. Then they'll turn around and tell you that they know the age of the layer by the things that they find in it, which is just circular logic, right? Second, they never do. Why are there layers? Does things just magically, sinking into the earth all the time for some reason? What the fuck is that? What are we doing here? Things just magically sink into the earth over a period of time and get deeper and deeper and deeper? Or are we being inundated with layers of dust over periods of times that are building up to feet worth of more earth? And if that's true, wouldn't that increase the size of the earth? And where is this dust and dirt coming from? I mean, nothing makes sense about their ridiculous claim. Nothing. And so they can float this shit under the perception deception that, oh, this guy is a scientist and he said that, so therefore it must be true. And I think we're actually got them going over there and picking these guys up out of the capsule now. If you want to see. Yeah, that's cool. So
Their
why?
program's weak. Their program's weak.
Well,
if you're falling for this shit, like you obviously you don't even have a thought of your own.
Well, here's what's going on, Cage. I do fully believe that this thing right here is floating in the ocean. Okay. And I believe that there's a boat going out there and picking some guys up.
That's like the shittiest fucking
Wait.
animation I've ever seen.
You have to let me finish what I'm saying before you jump in, right? Okay. So I believe that is actually possible, that it's happening. These guys are, now I don't know why he's climbing up onto the nose of it if he's trying to get into a boat, but anyway, that can absolutely be real. Now, did that thing actually come from space? No, I don't believe it did. No, not a bit. I think the more aptly it was probably pushed out of the back of a C-47 or maybe even a C-5 Galaxy, and then allowed to go down, and then parachutes deploy, and that's what you saw. I fully believe that, what right there, because I don't.
Well, they do have fucking, they do have real shit out here. For example, we had the air show over here. I'm from Toronto. Yeah, we've been having fighter jets and fucking shit going over us. They're showing off. It's the air show. They're going like Mach fucking 3.
Yeah.
Making sonic booms and shit.
Mm-hmm.
Whatever.
Well, they only got to go Mach 1 to make a sonic boom. You can create a sonic boom with a bullwhip. That crack you hear when you snap a bullwhip, that's the tip of that whip breaking a sound barrier.
Yeah, I know what you're talking about.
That's what that is. So they only have to go Mach 1, which is still incredibly fast, right?
Yeah, no, I know, but I'm saying, they're going like Mach. They're going over like Mach 3.
17,000 miles an hour is a way faster speed than Mach 1. I can guarantee you that.
Yeah, Mach 1 breaks the sound barrier, right? Yeah.
Oh yeah, that's why it's measured that way. See, Joe in Albuquerque's here now. No hot girls to greet them like William Shatner. No, but see, that was in Bill's contract, Joe. That was in Bill's contract. He also got fresh egg salad sandwiches in the dressing room. So, it all depends on him. These guys ain't nobody. Not like Captain Kirk, for crying out loud. And why did they land in the ocean when the other one with Shatner in it just landed in the desert on the ground? And like Lucky said, why'd they use this ridiculous bullshit when they got these rockets that just land right straight up? I don't understand what the seems like they don't really have a set procedure yet. It's really taking a long time for these motherfuckers to just hop onto a boat.
First of all, who's filming this?
I don't know, man. Maybe
where's the camera coming? Why could the camera set up exactly where they landed?
Well, it might be on a ship.
So why aren't they going to this ship? Like, what the...
Well, I don't know. I'm wondering what the fuck's taking them so long to get off the goddamn thing and get in the boat. Dramatic effect, I think. So they can make it show what heroic people they are and everything. That must be what it was.
A nice little pyramid-shaped thing.
It's a little. It's a micro penis. It represents the micro penis. That's what they have.
The micro obelisk, right? There you go.
He's just gonna hang out there. Where'd the boat go? The boat just took off and left him there. He said, "Fuck you, you stink. You're not getting on my boat, bitch." Was he hung up on something? He's gonna drown. We gotta get him. All right, here he is now. Grab a hold of the boat there, Skippy. You can do it. I don't know what this goddamn thing is doing. Look at it. At this point, I have to say, even Steven Seagal, as fat and slow as he is now, could have gotten off that fucking thing onto the boat. Okay. I'm just saying.
What is he fucking doing?
I don't know what the hell he's doing, man.
Like they're connecting it. They're gonna
Some
tow
kind
it or
of
something.
frustrating thing of recovery because he's hung up on something. They're handing him shit. What's he trying to do? Trying to recover some kind of thing that they didn't think about easy recovery of before they launched? What are we doing here? Fast boats for a reason, yeah. I would imagine they're called fast boats because they're kind of fast. I don't know. It's just my idea. You know.
Don't worry, the crew got they get free gravel and shit, for the seasickness and stuff. So they're fine. They're gonna puke everywhere. They got gravel. They got the pharmaceutical shit. They're fine now. They're it's fantastic views. It says right there in the.
Cameras are going eyes on, which is exactly slightly visible spectrum. Okay. So they must have a light shining on that fucking capsule or something because that thing's glowing. I don't know what they got going on with it. Let's hear them. Let's see if we can hear them. Hold on. Going?
You can see some of the features of the Dragon capsule as the recovery forces outfit it with the rigging necessary to bring it onto recovery vessel Megan. Some of the circles you see in front of the individual that's on the Dragon capsule, that's where those parachutes were deployed from. Above that is the nose cone, which is, of course, closed prior to re-entry. It was open through the duration of most of the flight of Dragon to and from the International Space Station. It needed to remain open to perform that deorbit burn to, of course, successfully get home. But now it's closed, and you can see it provided the protection necessary from the plasma buildup through the Dragon's re-entry.
The plasma
Some of the dark circles you see at the front of the vehicle, and by front, I mean where that individual is on the capsule. The darker circles are some of the outlines of where those service section Dracos are, and the brighter white area is actually the base of the Super Draco engines. And these are inhibited once it gets into orbit, but are very much necessary through the launch phase. In the event of any abort that is necessary, it would be those Super Dracos that you're seeing, the bright white area that would fire and provide enough thrust capability to escape a speeding Falcon 9 rocket.
These guys are so fucking stupid. It's unbelievable.
Rockets in the back. Yeah, what are you pushing against up there in space?
Super Dracos.
What is it that you're countering in space for a rocket to do any goddamn thing other than blow fire out the side?
You got the Super Dracos and the Dragon in space, guys. Come
Dreamy
on.
says it's Dildo
Once
Island.
again, we can see the recovery
The
vessel
Draco dildo.
Megan making its way closer and closer to the Dragon Endeavour capsule.
These people,
these guys think we're a bunch of fucking
splashed down
retards.
off the Atlantic coast of Florida.
Well,
we can see the recovery team in
they're fucking right. The majority of the population
have
are
now approached the Dragon capsule. They are in the process of rigging it up with the necessary straps and equipment that will be utilized for right there. That is the actual the Dragon's nest that we will be lifting the Dragon capsule onto. The lifting mechanism, it's kind of hard to tell right now, but that almost house-like structure over the end of the aft end of the boat will actuate downward, and then the straps will be used to lift the Dragon capsule, and then the whole thing will actuate back into the orientation that we see
the Dragon capsule.
to
the
help
Dragon
secure or to place it into
now it has a
capsule
camera on it.
nest.
You couldn't have the camera on
After the
before,
capsule
but
is
now
placed
the
in the
thing has
nest,
a camera on it.
they will then just
What the
fold
fuck?
or translate the nest forward.
Bro, they're so greedy they can't even make the
where
production
platform
quality
is that we will actually be able to
they're stealing all that money.
see the
At least
recovery
make it
team
fucking
open
look
the side
proper.
hatch and eventually have Crew 6 egress or exit
Oh
from the
my
capsule.
God.
So if you look through the back there, you can see the.
That's enough of that fucking
It
bullshit.
looks like a shitty grow tent you bought from China for like $80, but you're getting billions of dollars. Okay.
Was this dreamy? I thought I what? Days, boobs. And I'm like, what? Oh, so yeah, it's so I'm getting ready to shut her down here pretty quick. We've been going 4 hours and it's not, wee hours in the morning. I think I've found a good period of time to do these shows. I got a lot of we had a lot of people in here. We got 58 right now. That's pretty good. I'm not upset about that. And we had a good time. Did you catch the show the other night when Illumitami was on Saturday night with me and the rest of the crew?
No. Like to be honest with you, I don't watch anything. Any of these things. Like
Oh, you gotta watch it. You gotta watch it.
I'm either on here or I'm not here at all.
Yeah, you'll laugh your ass off. I guarantee you.
As far as
I had so many messages the next day, people telling me that their sides were just split and that their sides were sore from laughing. And I thought that was that makes me. I like to make people laugh. I really do. It gives me a pleasure to make people laugh, and always has. And I think that's funny as shit. And we had people going. Even my friend that came over with their two boys to the house, and I was talking to them. She was telling me her and her boyfriend both were just fucking rolling, laughing. And that's cool. We like to have a good time here. I don't know. What do y'all think? I'm going to, just before I roll, I'm just going to put a poll up real quick, just out of curiosity. And what I'm going to ask everyone is, all right, let's see. I'm going to start a poll. And I'm going to say, oh, wait, let's see. I got to, wait. Let me cancel that. I think I can do it. I don't know. How am I going to do that? Let's see. Start a Q&A. All right. So, oh, no, I guess I could do it that way. Wait. Yeah, we'll do it that way. I haven't done this a whole lot. Okay. So I'm just going to ask, what is this? Roofy? Is that his name? All right. So I'm just going to ask a question. And here's the thing. You put a 1 or a 2. All right. It's real quick. I don't want to have to fuck around with this. If you think that my points were more valid while discussing with Roofy guy, push 1. And if you think that his were better than mine, press 2. In other words, who do you think held their best in the discussion? If it was me, press 1. If it was Roofy, hit 2. So let's see what we got.
You're gonna get roofied or something? Who's
ZXL Master says that Roofy's arguments were better.
All right, yeah, Dave, you're gonna end it just now soon, right?
Yeah, real quick. As soon as I just get some answers in here and give some shout outs, and then I'm
I was gonna say, thank you guys for having me on. Much love to everybody. Everybody, take care of them. Take care of yourself. Enjoy the long weekend. Much love for everybody.
Right on. Yeah, everybody. Happy Labor Day. I hope nobody goes into labor. Really, if that's what that means. I'm hoping I don't go into labor on Labor Day, but so far I've been good all this time. So it looks like I'm kind of hands down on that. That's cool. Oh, he answered twice. The XL Master answered twice. He's not picking sides. I don't blame him. He's in neutral. That's cool too. But hey, that sounded like a winner. I think I held well in that one too. Maybe we'll have him come on again. We always leave it open. We definitely want to cure people of this malady. We'll do another stream tomorrow night. See if we can go back at it again. We had a good time here tonight. I want to thank everybody that came, all the people that are in the chat right now. Let me see what I've got. I've got Access Monday, Daniel Becker, Dreamy Lynn, Escape the Chains, Joe in Albuquerque, Joe King, Lucky Haskins, of course, Michelle, aka Nayikas. Is that right? Is that what it is? Nayikas? You're going to have to come on and tell me how to pronounce that correctly. I'm telling you, Michelle. Aura Lumen is here. Let's see. Thrashless Smith, Sean Elke, Push Button 62, Plowboy 6756, Jehovah's Daughter Barbara, and ZXL Master. I think that covers it. I want to thank you all for coming tonight. We'll do it again tomorrow. And as we always like to say on here, always remember, Lord loves a working man. Don't trust Whitey. And see your doctor and get rid of him. We'll see you tomorrow night. Y'all enjoy. Thanks for coming.